here last session.
Oh no, but what he did mention is actually a sticking point of what happened. Would you like to recap us to that part? Because we have some catching up to do, Ram.
Okay. I am not good at recaps, so bear with me. So, we're hunting down some jackasses who didn't show up to the big boss's party. Big bosses aren't happy. We're trying to find the people who didn't come and why. We found one guy who was supposed to be supplying the bodies. Let's just say for that. And yeah, he's either dead or someone he knew is extremely dead in a very arcane ritual, and it seems to be pinned on some group names called VII and or Seven. The second guy, named Chef, big black guy, seems to be like from South Park. He was supposed to be supplying the refreshments. He seems to be gone for a while, but his refreshments are still there, so he might just be AWOL. As for the third guy, who's essentially living in a van down by the river, supplying books like a ghetto bookmobile, he seems to also be AWOL. And then we had some guy who was with the blind vampires, whose name temporarily escapes me. And people seem to know where he was going, or no one really knows where he's going, but they're very concerned about where he went. One of us is apparently something, 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 vampire aid, something, something, something. And to escape the dying of the light, I personally. Oh, Merzendi's power went out again.
Oh, okay.
Also, to escape the dying of the moonlight, Gideon, because he is working them glutes and is on like a 10 speed, went to the sanitarium to try to talk to the last person, who was actually an elder. And that elder is perfectly fine, well and good. Apparently, the messenger never got to that elder, and because we're both creepy Nosferatu, he put me up for the night.
Correct. And while you were put up for the night,
Did I
things
mention
happened.
vampire agents?
Things happened while you were put up for the night. More importantly, things happened the next day. But Gideon was strangely absent, and attempts at making contact with him met with an answering machine that probably sounded along the lines of, "This is Gideon. Please say some words and this infernal beast turn off." And then a lot of fumbling until eventually there is a chirp.
Someone find me someone younger to turn this thing off.
That's probably how that went down, yes. Now, Rose Lawson woke up the following morning to find that her vision is actually starting to turn a little bit shitty.
Wait. Has your name the entire time been a joke on larceny?
Just Rose Lawson.
Those?
What?
It sounds like larceny, sure, but it's just Rose Lawson. A totally normal name.
Not Rose Larceny? Alright, fair enough.
You give me too much.
That's a stretch by any means, man.
You know
That's up
how
there.
hard I struggle with naming characters? You think I'm gonna be that clever?
He would be that funny.
I mean, yes, I was that clever.
Okay, so continuing with the recap. Rose Larceny awoke to find that her vision was kind of shitty. Basically, that seems to be rooted in some kind of magics that the Bardicelli form. And she is becoming her own bloodline. However, if she continues to follow along on this route of turning blind in exchange for heightened senses, which seems to be happening naturally, then eventually her bloodline will shift to basically being Bardicelli, with a flavour of whatever she used to be. Which is pretty fucked up.
Oh god, does that mean my bloodline could be refreshed in this modern day and age?
I mean, what do you mean refreshed? They exist. They're in the sewers.
No, my bloodline.
Yours? I don't know. Did you used to be a Bardicelli, and do you have the power of the Bardicelli to burn other people?
I was talking about the fuck, what are we, Sir Martins?
No, this is very specifically a thing that they do. It's not something that any other group ever could possibly pull off, except the Bardicelli are special weirdos. some further investigation was done, and Timothy Lee conducted further investigations alongside his companion, totally not Sherlock Holmes, where they found out that there had been things along the lines of it seemed at first to be a power cut. However, more correctly, so here random tapping current for you, DCL. More correctly, there is an inconsistency in closed circuit television at the supposed time of one of your missing individuals' missing car. An unknown vampire was walking to Chef's home, and a 1-second power cut. Apparently, during this time, 3 whole seconds occurred, and this phenomena seems to actually be as widespread as the entirety of San Pasado. Checking any CCTV anywhere in the city reveals that an exact same second's power cut, which happened in just their area, turned into 3 seconds of time everywhere else. Give you an example. A person is walking down the street at a leisurely pace. It is 1 second until the minute turns. In that 1 second for the minute to turn, they are suddenly way further down the street than they should be, as if 3 whole seconds had passed in the time of 1. However, you don't see them like move quickly, like it's not speeding up. They just are further ahead. Which, as all is considered, is quite the strange inconsistency. And welcome back, Mers. Is your internet defucked from power cut?
Nope, but I'm listening in on the phone.
Okie dokie. Now, of course, they were doing all of these bits and pieces, but Sir Gideon was strangely unavailable. So, Sir Gideon, on the morning of the others, well, morning in big air quotes, of the others finding out this information, you too awaken. However, you awaken and find yourself in a particularly strange situation. You were in a padded room with little to no furniture, a very simple bed. No sharp corners on anything. The nightstand itself is that curved, harmless plastic. The floors are slightly cushioned, sort of safety polyfill type. And that's how it looked when you went to sleep. Now that you awaken, you find that you are still in what appears to be the same bed. There's a heavy contraption over your face. It appears to be above the bridge of your nose and riding down to the base of your jaw, wrapping around the back of your head. A small grill exists through the front of it, allowing you to do things like breathe and make sound. Not that those specifically are necessary to you. You could choose to stop breathing, although that makes talking an awful lot harder. Other pointed factors you come to realize quite quickly are that your limbs appear to be tied down in the bed by straps of flexible leather. And your chest likewise is pinned in this same position. Also, worryingly, perhaps half an inch dug into your chest is a stake. Only half an inch. It hasn't penetrated particularly far, but it's probably very uncomfortable penetrating some of your lung. What do you do?
So, is the stake attached to the other contraption that's holding me down, or?
No, it's resting in your chest.
And I can still see out of this mask and everything?
Correct. It stops above the bridge of your nose, so your eyes, ears, and forehead
So
hair
it's
uncovered.
So I have a muzzle on.
Effectively, yes. It's a little bit firmer around the bottom of your jaw and around your neck than a muzzle would be. It's making it quite difficult to crane your neck around, but yes, effectively you are muzzled.
The hunters of the modern age get more creative. Would I be allowed to? Shit, I don't know how this works. Forgive me.
Okay.
That monster strength thing to help vampires just break shit.
Sure, you can certainly try a check to break the shit that binds you.
And would the Would the Nazi, this terrible grip help me with that?
You've nothing to grip down on. I mean, you could grip the bed sheets below you, but it would do a whole lot of really not anything.
Yeah, that
You've
would
been
just
bound
break the...
pointedly about, if I were to describe your strappings, you have one the midsection of your forearm. You have a binding that's keeping your bicep pinned to your chest. Your chest, your stomach, and your hips are pinned to the bed. Your thighs and your shins are pinned to the bed. You have some movement in your knees. You have some movement in your elbows. However, overall, you seem to be quite well restrained.
Well, first off, let's try to get the arms undone. Once I get the arms undone, I can use my powers to make everything else easier.
Yep. And then let us have a look at your good old sheet. Alright then. And you were tied up by a professional. Let us quickly see how good they were at their job. Blip blip. Wow, okay. So, a success. So you are properly tied. You're going to have to execute some level of force, or you're going to have to find a way to specially squirmify your way through. And yes, if you're looking, yeah, the Silence of the Lambs mask ain't far off, but it is it's covering the neck as well as the bottom of the jaw.
Theoretically, could I use Falgrave to go through this shit, or is that gonna be a no?
Again, you can't get your hands onto anything. The only thing your hands could probably grip are the sides of your own legs. I mean, you could try and rip those off, but that would probably not be very good.
Alright, well, first off, let's just try to burst free from this bullshit.
Sure thing.
What would you want me to roll for that? Because I am still kind of unfamiliar with the mechanical aspects of the system.
Of course, you need to select a physical skill, and I'm going to say the strength attribute. Athletics seems like a good way to go.
Okay, so strength athletics?
Correct.
Hopefully.
Now, you also appear to have a full tummy of vitae. Tick that off by 1 because, a day has passed. But vitae can be used as well to, boost attributes.
Okay, and how much vitae would I have to use to boost that?
Let's see here. There is a limitation to how much you can boost a physical attribute with your vitae, limited to your blood potency. Let me double check.
Physical intensity, you spend 1 vitae to get, I think, 2 or 3 dice.
Let me.
I think 2.
2 dice? Okay, 2 dice sounds correct. So yeah, you could spend a vitae to give yourself a couple extra dice on this roll.
Alright, then I guess I'll be 1 vitae for 2 extra dice, right?
Correct, yeah. Alright, 2 successes. So, it's going to take you some time to break your way free, but, I mean, it's not like you actually grow tired. But it's going to take you, more vitae to continue to keep your strength boosted for the duration of snapping yourself out. If you're willing to spend another vitae, then you can last the entire duration it takes to finally stretch your arms, forearms, free of these bindings and break them.
Very well.
Yeah, you can happily tick off another vitae. You're pretty sure about 20 minutes passes of this constant exertion.
Okay.
And yeah, alright. Finally, your forearm bits pop free. At some point during the process of this trying to get yourself out, You're pretty sure that that's your phone buzzing annoyingly in like the nightstand, and then it, stops buzzing as it goes to voicemail.
Okay, so I have my arms free, right?
You have your forearms free. Technically, your biceps are pinned to your chest, which is pinned to the bed. But you can move your, like, forearms at the elbow and your hands.
Can I reach up and get that steak?
Yes, you can. It's only an inch in you.
Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that little piece of shit.
Sure.
Hell, I might be able to use it to help get the rest of this shit off me.
Yeah. Can you, as you grab it, give me a resolve composure test, please?
Any bonuses?
Nope. However, that would appear to be your best physical attribute roll at all.
Don't say that. See, look what you did.
Yeah, it's 2 successes. I mean, you only ever need 1 success in this game to accomplish things. Okay, so as you rip it out, you can feel this awful tugging sensation as though it's trying to draw something from you, as though, this action you're performing is wrong, but you sort of muscle through this sensation and yank the steak free, and suddenly your head seems to clear a little bit. You realize that the room you were in wasn't actually dark. You're in a bright room, but for some reason it just struck you as though, oh, it must be that it is dark right now because, all the colours seemed kind of washed out. No, now the room seems strangely bright and clinical, as though someone had just flicked on a light switch, although you can generally be pretty certain with your senses that's not what happened.
I'm assuming I can't do anything with super special vampire senses now.
I mean, the fact that you are naturally sensitive allows you to confirm that, when a change is unusual. To a normal human, they'd probably be like, oh, someone switched on a light with weird timing as I pulled this out. To you, no, the room came to life as you pulled this out. A cursory inspection reveals that there appears to be, like, a stamp coming from this, like, it's on the base of this steak when you twist it to face you, so you can see it properly, and it smells strongly of blood that isn't yours.
Academics history or whatever, or what have you?
I mean, you might be able to pull something out of history. It'll have a -2 modifier.
And if I have a specialization for history, does that help?
Yes, it does help.
Okay, so intelligence. I'm not sure. Where are you? Where are you?
Intelligence top left, academics top of the mental block.
And 2 for history, right?
Yep, well, that'll cancel out the negative, so just roll as is.
Specialization only gives you +1, not +2.
Oh, okay, so you have a -1. Okay. So it's not a practice that you're familiar with having taken part in yourself, but cursing a steak is not uncommon. If you don't want to actually, fucking just put a vampire under rather permanently, their body's still sensitive to having a steak even, resting above their heart. In your case, you'd probably have been the kind of person just be like, and slam, steak goes right in, and that faffing around. It seems that someone's been able to perform some kind of, like, true act on this thing. Or jamming it in your chest, but they obviously did not want you to, actually enter torpor or anything.
They didn't want to kill me. Interesting.
It was just a prank, bro.
Yeah, that's what the rune says, scribed in the top.
Does that mean someone out there has penalties for memes?
Does that mean what, sorry?
Does that mean someone out there somewhere has a penalty for using a meme?
Yeah. No, it's fine. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so yes, you have inspected the steak and revealed that there was obviously some kind of blood sorcery on it to keep your senses or something dulled. Because again, this room has sort of come to life now that you've yanked it out of your chest.
Well then, since I have my forearms done, I guess work on the chest and then biceps and then work my way down.
Sure thing. You can get your hands to help you with the chest. So yeah, give me that strength again, please. Strength athletics. This time you have just a natural modifier of 2 because you have proper use of your arms for this.
And hold on.
I know that you want to recommend this awful grip, but sadly these things are specifically flexible materials as opposed to, breakable materials.
So there is really no durability for me to ignore.
Correct, yeah. I mean, you could try it on the bed frame, but you'd then just be trapped very, very awkwardly. Indeed,
Okay,
it's likely that the bed frame has buckled like a little bit. You're probably afraid that breaking the bed frame would take away all the leverage you have to like unbind yourself, and then you'd just be stuck to a mattress made of foam.
Which would be even more awkward.
Yep.
So strength academics again?
Not strength academics. You can't think brain your way through. Strength athletics would be good.
My mistake. Wrong one.
Yeah, and you have a natural +2 now because you have the use of your forearms and hands.
I'm just imagining somebody using strength academics now. I'm thinking like a really buff nerd.
Oh, that's just chess boxing.
Someone.
That's chess boxing. It's a great sport. It turns out though, if you really, really want to win at chess boxing, you just get fucking absolutely ripped. Make it survive basically through chess, and then spend those 5 minutes doing your very best to knock someone unconscious, not planning to win your chess game. That was a real thing. I'm not kidding.
So 0 is not a success or a failure, right?
0 is a failure. Say, would you like 2 beats to make it a dramatic failure? Then something bad is going to happen as a result of this failure. Otherwise, you can try again and time will have passed.
You know what? This would be the first time you've ever given me a chance for a dramatic failure, so I think I'm going to take it.
Alright, awesome. So you've got your
Gideon again.
Yeah, probably you've got your thumbs like underneath the band around your chest that's keeping your biceps binded to it, and you're just sort of pulling slowly away. But then there is a creaking snap from the bed frame that you're resting on, and you realize that it has indeed given away. Not completely, but it clangs against the well, no, it wouldn't clang. It clangs against itself, but it lands with a soft muted thud on the padded bed. But compared to the previous silence of this room, that sound is quite obvious. Your beast probably senses it before you do. There is a presence approaching. Feels like a strong vampire to you. There's a rattle of keys in the door, slowly pushed open, revealing a figure who is effectively wearing like a full burqa. You can't see any of the details about them, and their hands are wrapped up in gloves. You can certainly try to, like, identify them by some other means. Can you give me a wit's composure, please? You recognize the smell of the elder on this person immediately. However, they do not have their stature. You would figure that this is probably someone they've sired.
I'm fairly certain your sire wouldn't approve of this.
They slowly tilt their head back towards you. They were surveying the state that you've put yourself in. And there's a long, drawn-out sigh, and surprisingly enough, a feminine voice reaches you. That is where I'm afraid you are wrong. She will crouch down beside you. You can see these gloved hands grip the edges of your bed frame and, like, lift it up, straightening the bed out. There's a creaking noise as she physically grips it. Again, you would recognize this awful grip. It is being utilized to, like, bend these 2 pieces of the bed frame, and she presses them hard together and sort of keeps it from cracking apart again. And the bed has probably now grown an inch shorter and probably a deal more discomforting, if not for your dead state.
I would ask that I am released immediately.
I'm glad that you are asking as opposed to demanding. However, I'm afraid that we can't do so yet because we just don't trust you.
I have served this institution longer than your bloodline has existed. You call my loyalty into doubt.
Why, yes, I do, because very strangely, the day of your rising coincides with a number of actions that we find most distressing.
My younger compatriots would tell me that I can't even figure my way out of what's that phrase? Cannot figure my way out of a paper bag. Yet you trust me to, on the day of my awakening, somehow machinate something or another.
We don't believe you to be the originator of this plan, no. But it certainly seems that someone such as yourself would be a very useful tool, and you would have had time to commit the actual atrocity. Spying, preparation. We didn't notice them. No, these events began on your day of awakening. If this is an unfortunate coincidence, then I apologize. You can probably tell by the tone of her voice that she doesn't apologize. She's kind of a bitch.
Can I make another strength athletics roll to at least get one arm undone?
Sure. I'm going to be doing a test for her to move quickly enough to try and stop you. So first,
Oh, no. This isn't aggressive towards her. This is just getting my arm undone.
I know, but she will want to stop you. If you're trying to get your arm undone, she's going to notice that you have exerted effort, and she might try to stop you. So if you would like to make a dexterity athletics roll, please. See if you get to act before her. Come back. It's 5. Same number of successes. So she's like reaching for you, but yeah, okay, now give me your strength roll. She's not going to be able to stop you from trying.
Scow, I hate to say this, but she got a 10.
Oh, right. Never mind. Point still stands. Everything is fine. Okay. It is a success, which you're aware, usually takes time, but you've got your hand free, so it would be quicker. And then something unpleasant happens. A very strong hand wraps its way around your forearm, slaps your hand down against your chest, while the other arm is reaching down to go for the stake that had been discarded.
No, that's staying in my hand.
Oh, is that still in your hand? Then she will try to wrest it from your grip.
Many have tried to take a weapon from me. None of them kept their hands. You might want to consider that before you do what you're thinking of.
She'll look to you pointedly. Fine. She'll release the arm that you were using to, break yourself free. Then she walks out of the room. You probably get a few moments. You probably only get a few moments longer into struggling, before you hear sounds like a cracking noise, like glass breaking. And then she enters the room again. This time she appears to be wielding a fire axe.
That's a bit of an escalation, isn't it?
It is, yes, but you're being very rude.
I don't like being restrained.
Indeed, and I don't like compatriots dying. I do not like my elder being threatened. I do not like being threatened. I don't trust you, and you seem intent on breaking out of these restraints that are keeping you very safe, just like it is keeping us safe.
Then let us begin again. You say that someone's threatening your elder. I am trying to figure out why your elder wasn't present. He told me that a messenger never arrived. The sun was rising. That is the only reason why I'm resting here. There was a few other unexplained disappearances. We are trying to figure out why.
And she'll sigh, taking the time to breathe in to do so properly. You see, there is an issue, Sir Gideon, and that might be that you genuinely believe this fact and are unaware that you are an agent of undoing.
Now, alright, Scout, correct me if I'm wrong on this,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to see if I can try to finagle a little note I figured earlier.
Okay.
What did he say was on the stake?
A rune indicating blood magic.
You assume me a traitor, or at least in accidental league with a traitor. Yet you're the one using blood magic.
But of course, we have a number of very old tools. Although we have a very limited number of those, I would appreciate your not breaking them. You see, that was in you for your own protection. Indeed, if you are an unwitting agent as opposed to a witting one, it's entirely possible that having those senses deprived of you protects us and keeps you from being controlled. You understand now?
Somewhat.
So if you would kindly let me take that from you and pop that just a little way back into your chest, we can continue this conversation civilly.
I give you my word that so long as no aggressive action is done to me, no aggressive action will be performed to you.
Now, are you counting the addition of that stake just a little ways inside of you?
No. I'm in an unknown situation. I don't understand why I'm being restrained, though you say it's for my own safety.
Yes, if you are more familiar with this place, that might actually seem almost an ironic humour.
Irony is lost on me.
Yes, it is not a specialty of ours either. And she will then pointedly put down the fire axe. It's within not, too far away from yourself, so if it came to a genuine tussle, you might have a chance at getting at it. And then she will, hold out her hand for the stake.
I put it...
You ever feel like the storyteller is testing you?
Yeah, I do get that feeling that the storyteller might be testing me.
Sip my drink.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, but I know the story up to this point. I just don't know which way this story's going to diverge, and I am concerned. Wait, there's a role for this. Which did you? Something. Empathy? What's empathy?
Yes, you could try a wits empathy to see if she's shitting you or not. And now I'm going to roll some dice. As you might expect, a professional psychopath, Nozzy, not particularly empathy. Never mind. No, okay. So you're on equal grounds. She's not exactly able to completely keep this read away from you. There is a hint of maybe just a touch of nervousness about the idea of her, quite obviously putting herself in this position where you could just fucking shank her with the stake and see what happens. Might be her attempt at trying to show you that she's, trying to be fair, Or it could just be that she's eager to drive it into you. Regardless of either way, there is a hint of nervousness to this woman, and that is what you can gather.
Tell me, girl, what do you know of me?
I would like the steak, please, before we continue this conversation.
Very well. It's not going back in my chest.
She frowns and folds her arm.
I place it down.
Okay. You sort of kick the steak back over to herself with the foot and then pick it up a little bit out of your reach. Flips it end over end in her hand and frowns. You know how draining it is to put one of these in someone?
Not particularly. Of course, the last one that put a stake in my chest was probably about half your size.
Yes, I imagine so. And she'll flip again the steak end over end. Alas, I am afraid that our conversation can't continue, because you can't be trusted with any information in your current state.
I don't understand why you're still nervous about my allegiances. If we are on the same side, I wouldn't have. If we are on the same side, I wouldn't have any reason to resist any farther.
Of course, but that's the insidiousness of it, Sir Gideon. I'm sure it is quite hard to understand. However, I will endeavour to make it clearer again by speaking slower. And she will also swap to, you know, a decently old Latin to... Indeed, it's a familiar tickle to your ears. You may be compromised. And you may be compromised in such a matter as not even know that you are an agent of the Seven. That's the true danger. Their agents don't even know that they are. One day, a trusted protege just up and disappears. Then you find evidence of their work on dead innocents. Try to chase them and you can't find them. Until they turn up dead under a bridge, dismembered, ash filled in their mouths. And you can't be sure they didn't do such a thing to themselves. That could happen to you, Sir Gideon, which is why I would like to put this dampening stake in your chest to keep other works of foul sorcery from influencing you, for both our safety and your own.
Wits composure?
Wits composure would give you a perception-y thing, yeah, sure. Wits empathy for sense bullshit. It's impossible to get a read on this bitch. It's such an absurd situation, and it's a very hard thing to come to terms with. Occasionally, your eyes are drawn to the way that she flips the steak end over end in her hand.
I am not comfortable with that kind of steak.
Sigh.
Well, you seem to know my name. Can you at least tell me anything about yourself?
If I came here fully disguised, and I believe that you are an unwitting double agent to your own mind, do you think I would be willing to reveal myself in full identity? Sure, it's not hard to discover, but I would at least like to make it a little bit challenging for you.
Do you believe that any such call would actually be powerful enough to take over someone such as I?
Yes. Honestly and truly, upon mine own sworn name, though you know it not, Yes, I believe that no one is safe. I will give you this one snippet of information, and then I will ask again kindly if you will accept a little staking. The leader of the blind vampires has turned against their kin. Oh, that's true. You could spend willpower to throw on more dice. Yes, instead she's writes you this information, then is going to pointedly flip the stake over her hand again. I insist I will not put you into torpor, but we will not be having an extended conversation until I am sure my identity is secure and you aren't going to turn into a murderous vengeance demon.
And how would I know that you're not willing to do the same to me?
Let's put it this way. I either get to do this, or I cut off your head, just to make sure that I am 100% safe, and then I go to your prince with your head, apologize profusely, and try to get his assistance in this matter.
I will not allow you to place a stake in my chest.
She sighs and places the stake down on the little nightstand. And she goes to pick up the fire axe. What do you do?
I would like to grab at the axe myself, but yeah, I'm gonna grab at the axe myself.
Okay then. Give me a strength athletics test with a +2 as you have worked on these bonds before.
And apparently, according to Chad, I can get a 3 extra dice for a willpower.
Correct, yes. Also, you've got wits clicked there, not strength. I do love being able to like see live into the sheet. Unclick wits, then click in athletics. You can only have one attribute selected at once, so it was getting confused. There you go.
Thank you.
Scowl, you know that's wrong. Otherwise you couldn't do wits composure checks.
No, a skill and an attribute. You can only use a skill, aka, mental, physical, social, and one attribute at a time. Attempting to click between a second attribute and a physical, and like one of those skills will just change one of them.
I have resolve and composure clicked right now.
Correct. And then what happens when you click athletics in the bottom left? Going to assume it unclicks one of your attributes.
Oh, what they're getting is I can't have 3 things clicked at once.
Correct.
Oh, I thought you meant 2 things.
No.
You
As in-
did literally say 2 things.
I'm looking at it on his sheet, and it's because he kept having strength was the one unselecting itself and leaving wits in place.
I get you now, but it sounded like you misspoke, which confused me.
Fair enough.
You had said you can't have 2 attributes, but that led to the confusion.
Understandable. Yes, I'm looking live in Rem's sheet, so I was watching him click and like leaving the same stat behind. So.
Also, you can have 3 things clicked as long as the third thing is a discipline. But you can't click custom disciplines.
Correct.
Sucks.
They are unclickable because I don't know why. Well, I guess I know why. It's because you can't. Those are active like parts of a macro, whereas those need to be editable fields.
But they could have just like a clickable area for
They
it.
should. They should have a button instead, but they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make your roll.
So wait, why am I doing strength athletics?
Because you still have the rest of a binding to like, basically, since your bicep is still pinned to your chest, you need that full mobility of your arm to reach the axe. Okay, you're going to be able to reach the axe. She's going to make an attack at you with the stake, which she'll then scoop up the moment that you wrap your hands around this haft. Let us see here. Your initiative is 7, I see. Pretty sure hers is not that great.
I don't know if I've been doing a good thing or a bad thing. I'm very confused in the situation, which I guess I'm supposed to be.
Yep.
Yes, I was built for melee. I was also built to be a loyal knight to the Invictus, and I am very confused right now
Yeah.
as to.
She basically
Wait.
thinks you're an evil agent waiting to be activated.
She thinks you're a sleeper agent.
Yep.
Would Oath of the True Knight help me at all in this?
She does not. It would. I mean, it would help.
It affects any vampire or ghoul. It doesn't matter if they're. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as they are a vampire or a ghoul.
Correct. What does Oath of the True Knight do in this situation?
Gives him armor equal to his Invictus status.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that would count. I thought you meant for like persuading. I'm like, no, she just doesn't trust you. Okay then. You like to roll das Initiativas?
How do I do that?
It might be. There should be just a button to
D10
click.
plus. There isn't. We've tried so many times.
D10
Roll
plus
a
your
D10
initiative
and
score.
add your little initiative score.
In the bottom right, yours is 7.
What is the initiative negative for an axe?
I'm pretty sure it's just a -1. It's just a fire action wall. It's not heavy in any way.
A rapier is a -2. Yes.
Find out. What do you think? The core book or the armory thing?
I don't know. I haven't got the book open. I was just throwing a number out because a fire axe is generally considered quite light. They're kind of in a break
Okay,
glasses, anyway.
axe,
Have you
fire,
ever-
two-handed, 9 again, initiative -4.
Oh,
-4. Fuck. All right.
they're not light.
No,
Like if-
Damage 3.
I'm gonna say -3 since it's one-handed sized.
I would say -4 is fair since usually you don't use a hand axe as a combat weapon.
What do you mean?
Fire axe, sorry, fire axe.
You don't usually.
Even the battle axe and the large axe are still -4. The only one that's -2 is a small axe, like a hatchet.
But... Oh, okay.
Yeah, hatchet
All right then.
makes it-
-4 anyway. Then fine.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
hatchet
at
size.
weapon second. I'm looking at the Codex of Darkness weapon 2nd edition.
Oh yeah, we should.
You
That's
are
much more useful than the
faster.
book.
Okay, so you get to either attack or defend first. I will add that she is in slashing range.
What is that?
That would be Third's phone.
Amazing.
You never heard that?
No, no.
Andy. Oh, yes.
I think it's come up on streams before, but I just wasn't paying attention, so I didn't immediately recognize it.
That's...
I'm guess rather than attack her, can I try to cut some of these straps to get the fuck off this thing?
Yeah, sure. You don't have to make an attack instead. To cut them is a technically simple action, but I'm going to ask you for that old dexterity athletics and see just how much you can cut away, because you have a binding on still shins and your actual leg and some of your torso. Although your full arm has all of its motion.
Oh, by the way, this is 9 again, Rem, this weapon.
I don't know. Okay.
He's using it one-handed. That version of it's 9 again because it's two-handed, I believe.
Yeah.
Here's a normal axe 9 again.
It's a fire axe. You literally said it's a fire axe.
Yes, but it's a
But
one-handed
she's also
one, not the
Yeah,
two-handed.
It's a
fucking-
hatchet, not a fire axe. That's what it should be in the rules, a hatchet.
Well, then his negative would be -2 to
He
initiative.
already
then.
won then. I don't give a fuck. It is not 9 again.
Damage is only 2 though.
Tell you what, it would be axe large, which is between a battle axe and a small axe, and is -4. Read size 3. It does not have the two-handed quality on it, or 9 again. That's why
But-
things that are two-handed are 9 again.
But you get 3 damage instead of 2, so that's nice.
Yeah. this game's weapons so much. So shit. I hate them with a buck of passion.
Yeah.
Hey, why isn't a halberd on this list? How dare you?
Because this is a very confused age, and Gideon is quite confused in this situation.
Obviously, what you need is a sphere dam.
Look, Gideon is one bad day away from Assassin's Creed grade bleed effect, okay?
It only takes the one bad day.
One enthusiastic walk. Alright, 3 successes. That is all 3 bindings. You cut them all in that single motion. So you are now no longer can have, like, negatives for your defenses. You know, like, just because you'd be pinned to a bed so she can't fucking miss. You can now properly defend yourself, and she's going to make an attack. Tell me, what is your defense?
I guess 6?
Tell me, is the True Knight defense or armor?
Armor.
Armor. Okay, so no, I believe then it's base 3? Where are you getting the extra 3 from?
Oh, I don't really remember Oath, so...
That's fine, yeah, no. Oath of the True Knight then is armor, which will come off the damage taken instead. The defense is what steals dice away from me to attack you with. Right, she is using a weapon that is effectively a brawl weapon. She has to damage you with it to take an effect. She's going to have further negatives because she is very specifically aiming for your heart. There you go.
-3 qualled shot to hit him in the heart.
Mm-hmm. It requires 5 to impale, but she only needs 2 because she's not seeking to actually hit you in the heart. She's trying to hit you above it, which is damn sight easier than pushing it all the way through.
Don't go staking my heart.
Don't go staking.
1, 2. She'd have 7 dice. It's just a meager 4. Ooh, God and success.
We're back.
We're back, man. Alright, I want to check this thing properly before I go saying any numbers, so do bear with me for a brief moment.
Sure.
I don't know what's happening, to be quite honest.
I'm trying to stab you with a cursed stake. Not
Yes,
cursed,
I
a
realize
sorcerized stake. I have rolled an attack. I rolled with 7 dice. However, you have a defense of 3, so I took 3 dice off myself. Would have been a fucking 10, if not for the fact that it was also a called shot, which stole further dice from me.
My dice.
Yep. Turns out that trying to stake someone, even lying down, is quite hard if they have mobility. That's why she really wanted to do that before you cut yourself free. But, you know, this person's not actually a professional fighter.
Could have fooled me with 10 dice.
Oh, she buffed it with Vitae. She has got extra stuff for, like, making it easier to kill someone, but it is at the cost of her strength to do so. Whereas Gideon's just default is real good. Alright. I hate the combat rules so much.
You mean you love them?
No. No.
What are you looking for, Scout?
The right section for combat, because there are lots of different versions for it, and I don't know if a staking qualifies itself as sort of an unarmed combat, or if it's improvised or some kind of shit like that. I just want to know the numbers correctly. Brawl, there's the defense, buffed with dice, and the damage rolls. My damage roll. Let me see.
See. Stake.
You can find the page for, like, damage.
I can find you the page for armor, but like damage with a stake is. Oh, here it is. Damage 0.
Yeah,
So
that's the
I linked that.
Yeah, no, that bit's
Yeah.
already in there, but I'm looking for
But-
how
but-
you deal damage properly.
Oh, number of successes plus damage number.
Yep.
Well, there's
So-
only a 1 success, and the stake itself is not a normal stake, so it is a 1 damage, but that's still not going to be enough to actually get through your armor.
When applying armor to an attack dealing lethal damage, you always take at least 1 point of bashing damage from the shock of the blow.
Alright, so you take 1 bashing damage. She needed to deal at least 2 to earn any kind of puncture into you and initiate the stake's power. But, like, you feel this thing, like, punch down on your chest, Gideon, but it doesn't, like, pierce your skin. Even as it makes contact, though, like, the light at the corners of your vision seems to dim very momentarily, and then the moment that it is forced away from you or bounces off of you, everything is bright again, as though you were, like, halfway through blinking slowly. Yeah, stop resisting! Alright, it is now your turn. You have freed your body. You have an axe.
I'm gonna try this and see what happens. I am not particularly good at this. Dread Presence, add Nightmare to Intimidate, and I can... And I'm just gonna try for a simple stand down. Drop the stake.
Alright. Make
And
the roll, and if you succeed,
I
I
was about to
believe you
say,
get to affect 2
I was about to
senses.
say, can I get up from that?
Pardon?
Is getting up like a free action, or...
You can get up as you do it. It's very simple for you to stand, and it's very hard to intimidate someone you're lying down and looking up at them, even if you're holding an axe.
Dracula could do it.
Of course. You are Darkula.
Okay, intimidation is what?
Intimidation is a social skill, and then you choose an attribute to do it with, as usually presence. And you're trying to look scary.
I hope this works.
To go. Right.
I am a knight of the Invictus. I will not be held down by a child. I will not have my will broken by some insidious plot that decides to hide in the shadows. I stand firm.
Alright. She wilts and falters. It's unlikely she could succeed with the negatives you impose on her to keep her shit together, especially considering she is not allowed to spend willpower when you use this effect.
What? I wasn't paying attention. Was that a nightmare effect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nice.
Nightmare turns me into the scariest motherfucker in the room.
Why didn't it use? It just doesn't say use to discipline though, which confused me.
Yeah, that should have been another... Oh yeah, it just says modifiers 3 instead of the discipline click, so it's fine. It works
Weird.
out fine. Okay.
Essentially, I can just become spooky whenever I want.
Yeah, you do her a heckin' spook. And she'll slowly put her hands up. Admittedly, one of them is still very tightly gripping this stake, but it's, you know... I mean, a stake always looks kind of imposing when it's being tightly gripped because it has one stabbing end, and if someone's hands are going up, the stabbing end is still probably pointed towards you.
Explain yourself. No more tricks, no more lies.
Damn you, but you couldn't make this simple. I'm telling you right now very clearly, these people can take control of individuals. It's either that or we have to face the idea that they have always been agents of this ancient evil cult. And anyone at all could be under their control and influence, whether they know it or not. So I, of course, don't want to discuss anything sensitive until I've put this thing in you, which dampens the ability for sorcerous works to occur. Of course, that means nothing if you are actually just very good at lying, but I'm gonna judge by now that you aren't. Or as you'd probably have accepted the staking, frankly.
We will meet your sire. We will speak to him directly. I will not be attempted to be staked again by a child.
She hesitates. I
Remove the mask as well.
don't know where our elder is. After locking you up, we had you tied and secured. Given my orders, my sire was not here this morning on our awakening. Then she'll pause and look you over. She looks very, very nervous about the idea of approaching you while you're holding an axe in order to get you unclamped from this thing.
I'm sorry. Someone was talking to me. What did he say, Scott?
She's nervous about approaching you to, take that mask off of you while you're still wielding an axe.
Once again, I assure you that so long as you do not perform any aggression towards me, I will not use this in any form of aggressive manner towards you.
She'll sigh and just she tosses you the stake. You can get your hands on it. It's all pointless now. I'm to ask where my elder went. He rummages in what is effectively a burqa and pulls out a key. She'll indicate you have to,
went.
she'll make a twisty motion with her hand as indicating the lock is probably on the back of your neck.
All your elder did, we spoke, and he offered me his hospitality for the night. I know
Yes,
not where
then he went mysteriously missing.
Then his disappearances may be linked to the others.
Exactly. At the same time as you being in our home, effectively. But yes, turn around. Mask off.
Hand me the key.
She'll glance at the fact that you currently have in your hands an axe and an hour stake that she's tossed to you. I'm unarmed. Just hurry up.
I guess we undo the Hannibal mask here.
Yeah, she'll if you don't surrender to turning around, she will wait for you to put one of your tools of death down so that she can hand you a key.
Alright, so after we have that unlocked and after the possibly the tensest standoff that she's been in her own life.
Mm-hmm.
So your master is gone. So is his master, the bookman, the feeder, and the body bringer.
Correct. And
Rather
our
interesting
prime
target.
suspect is the leader of the Botticelli.
What is your reason for suspecting him?
I don't know what our elder said before he disappeared.
So you believe what your elder said without any supporting evidence?
Correct.
There is some wisdom to that. Elders wouldn't often lead their children astray for no reason.
Yeah, she's a childie. Not just my elder, as you so rightly pointed out, he is my sire. Be a fat lot of good if I didn't trust him to tell me the truth when he tells me things.
We will continue this search. We will try to find out the truth.
Of course.
Do you have any other information that could be valuable? Contacts. Was he going to meet anyone did he know anyone that you yourself did not know belonged to the First Estate?
Oh, I've yet to turn over his office. It wasn't long after finding out he disappeared that I came around here and figured you'd be awake very soon. Right, too. He'll just, like, nod around the room. Belongings are still in the nightstand. He'll walk out the room, leaving it wide open so you can exit.
One more thing.
Oh. He'll pause half step away from you.
My phone has been buzzing. Can you help me with this?
Okay. She will nervously reach into your nightstand, pluck out your phone. Takes a moment trying to figure out how to unlock it, but I figure a vampire is quite good at seeing like where someone has probably been like swiping in their little unlock pattern. Just looks at it for a moment. There, okay. And she'll flip it over. Yes, you've got a missed call.
Oh. And at this point, I'm trying to put on a shirt. How do I get... I press this button, right?
I mean, they're not buttons, they're just places on the screen. She just sighs and will awkwardly guide you through the process of opening your answering machine to listen to the call.
To be fair, he might have Google, a typing app, at least 3 different book reading apps, and his notes in calendar open.
Yeah. The FaceTime, the flashlight vibrate. Oh. Horrifying. It turns out you've been using up your minutes all night. Oh, the horror. It's just been an open call to nowhere.
This is America. Ooh. He's on the network.
Network? Why would I want to be a Nets?
Or he's been getting roaming charges. Ooh.
What he's got actually is one of those phones that actually don't have SIM cards. It's just always picking up loose Wi-Fi from anywhere it can, and that's how you do all your calls. What is a WhatsApp? WhatsApp? What is the app? What's WhatsApp? What is the app?
Let's settle down there, Abbott.
Yep.
I have been told that I'm very good at this Jeopardy game when it comes to history.
But I do not like being in jeopardy. I do not understand.
But I'm very good at getting out of it, because they keep congratulating me.
I do not understand this show. Whose line is it anyway? It is clearly their line they're speaking.
Anyway, yes. When you get to the call, I believe it is your companions updating you on, the information they have recovered thus far. Which is all here in inside your... Apart from that Rose section, she is not actually aware of that. She has not shared that factor to anyone, but I believe Claire.
I don't know how many sessions I missed.
You weren't there for this, Rose telling Claire that there is a thing
Yes.
going on, but you basically gave her some advice and have been told not to share that with others.
Yeah. I called you and was like, hey, I'm going blind. I don't know what's going on. Might be something to do with the crazy Botticelli.
Oh my. Oh, okay, all the way down here. Okay, cool.
Yep, that is it is as up to date as it gets. Okay. So yeah, what do you do now, Gidgeon? You have been released from bondage. The child, though still not trusting you, might just at some random point snap and try and like erase her as some kind of agency member. It's allowed you the room of their home. Or she returns to her sire's office to try and find out where he might have gone.
I do have another question for you.
Yes, Sir Gidgeon?
If I'm reading this correctly, your elder sent one of his children to the estate to say that he would not be attending the awakening.
Not
Do
a
you have know who he
child.
sent?
An orderly, one of our ghouls. A worker here, and now that as well that you're outside of the room you were kept in, you can hear that you are quite definitely in what one would deem a madhouse. It's horrifying and creepy and unsettling, and there are, active, awake psychopaths. Probably very relaxing for you as a Nazi as well, but at the same time there is a definite, illness to the whole place that you're in.
Who did he send?
I believe he pulled up the details on the orderly, and she confessed that she doesn't know it herself, but she can find that right away. She will ask that you don't follow her into her sire's office while they aren't around, but she will go right in and grab the details. Wait outside.
Yes, there's just a man in a suit with a stake in a pocket and just casually holding an axe, just standing at attention outside her office.
Are you naturally armed with a weapon, though?
What?
Do you carry a weapon usually, or are you just often barehanded?
Well, I was advised that openly carrying a weapon in this modern day is a bad idea.
Correct. You might not. You might be unopenly carrying a weapon. Regardless, it does not seem that you have. So yeah, it probably feels good to have a weapon in your hands again, as strange as it is with its plastic handle.
What I wouldn't give for solid hickory.
And then you realize
Switch
you just,
for beating children with old hickory.
and then you just realize you've been given a Power Ranger toy.
Yeah, as you're walking out your room as well, you can see the smashed break a glass in case of emergency box has just sat there with an axe in it. Well, in fact, wait, no, it wouldn't be a break glass in the asylum. It would be an unlock in case of emergency, so that a psychopath doesn't just crack it open. But it has instead actually just been punched open. It's very, very strong glass. But nothing that you couldn't break either. Yes.
What is that? What is that? Your retribution to me? Just forcing me to play Mario Kart
Force you to play with the children
on a motorcycle with no drift.
Yes. She rummages around the room, and one of the orderlies will indeed walk past you. You can see them. They look a little bit pale and disheveled. They have some of the mannerisms of the vampires around this place to them. That same slight hunched, pale awkwardness that comes with Nazi ghouls. But they have little trays. One appears to be walking out of a room. They have a small little blood bag filled up, and they have an empty medicine cup as they go. Eventually, the child will walk back out again. It seems at the same time they have ditched their burqa. And you can see that it is attractive is incorrect. Probably used to be very attractive, but now she has the sort of yeah, she's got that bat-like tilt to her mouth, where her eyes are a little bit too sharp and the corners of her mouth tighten back a little too much, so she can't very easily hide the fact that she has fangs. They're resting over her bottom lip just a little. Her eyes are dark and her skin is pale. There are a number of piercings, but not ring ones, just studs along the line of her left ear. Short black hair. And otherwise, I was going to say you'd recognize them as hospital clothes, but you've been in one. She's wearing what looks like papery, disposable clothing. And then she hands you a clipboard.
Is this person here tonight?
She'll shake her head. No, they were due to be here in the afternoon. They did not turn up for work.
When was the last time you saw them?
Would have been the day they were meant to go out with the message, actually.
So a few days.
Yes.
So days prior.
Correct. He left very early evening, so I'd been awake for perhaps just about 5 minutes, but I was there when he left with the response.
Do you know where they live?
Yes, their address is on that clipboard. City map. It would appear that they same deal, seeing as it's related to the same mission. Right here on the corner of a main intersection, in what appears to be a 3-person like renting one house deal.
Where?
Big old ping here.
Oh, there.
Center of that little blue teal thing. I'm just gonna down. Name is Camps.
Now, if I remembered correctly, you ought to said that your kind do not like leaving their buildings.
Correct. We hate leaving the asylum. We try to have our ghouls do all of that for us, but it is uncomfortable. I don't know if you've noticed. It's a very big city out there, not suited to us.
Your elder would have not left willingly.
It is unlikely that he would have left. Yes, that's he intended to decline in the first place.
Does he call any place outside of here his own?
No, this is his home, his fortress.
Has he ever been known to leave this place for anywhere else?
Anywhere else? Occasionally, there are things such as I hesitate to call them parties, more like small gatherings. Occasionally, he has to just, show that he's still around and doing things. He insisted he used up all of his social energy last time he was out to one, which is, why he didn't really want to go to a gigantic kindred party.
Interesting.
Does that have any kind of relevance here, Sir Gideon?
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry, something went off. I just kind of lost about the last minute or so.
Oh, she was, stated that occasionally he will, force himself to leave, but very much not a great distance away, and he certainly didn't want to go to a gigantic kindred party, prince or no prince. He went to a small little gathering at a point vaguely recently.
What point?
I myself, as player, can't remember the date, but there is a recorded information where Tarina went out and during a party scared the shit out of one of Esteban's ghouls. It would have been whenever that time was.
I, as a player.
Yeah, I kind of am a player in this world. I meant to say as a DM, as a person.
You're the goddess.
Oh, that's very sweet of you to say, but yes.
It's true, though. You're totally in charge.
It's also true, yeah.
So
You get 1d10 on your next roll.
So aside from official functions, he wouldn't leave.
Correct, yes.
And that he was connected to Esteban. Wouldn't happen to
Esteban.
know.
Yes, sometimes he helps us get a hold of new hired hands. We have a slightly higher turnover of people here than most.
Are
Sure.
you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Chef?
No.
Interesting, so that he was connected to Esteban.
He was connected to Esteban?
No. Wait, what?
She's asking you to confirm. Was he connected to Esteban? She doesn't appear to know herself.
I don't know yet.
I see.
The string of disappearances, your elder being the most recent, Esteban being the oldest.
He's dead, isn't he, Esteban?
Yes, by the people you threatened that I worked with, or you suppose that I worked for.
Yes. Understandable. We had actually heard from a less than psychologically sound individual that a bunch of individuals happened to have a very similar fate deeper in the poor district. It sort of seemed to spin this whole thing out of control itself.
I don't really know where else to go with this, but I will try to investigate this, Jacob.
Yes, please do so. I say we have a high ghoul turnover, but he happened to be around a lot longer than most.
If all these are connected, including what you said about the Botticelli, this is unique.
So making sure that your side jobs details are confirmed as well.
I will be taking my leave now. I will be investigating this, Jacob.
Okay then,
Is
I
my
wish you
vehicle
luck.
still there?
Yes, please do just call a work line. Our numbers all over the place. She'll have your little business card. Just call that. Let us know. Would be appreciated. And I'm sorry about the whole laying you down thing and staking you a little bit. That said, I don't still 100% trust you, and you shouldn't trust you either. If you ever see anyone acting really strangely, she'll nod to the stake that you've now got pocketed. Use that on them. Try not to actually pierce them through the heart with it. It would not be a good idea. It would steal quite a lot of vitae from you. I mean, it would kill them dead, but it would steal a lot of vitae from you to use it to try and actually commit a finishing.
Very well. I thank you for your time and this tool.
Yes. I've only got a couple of those, so try not to spread that around. It's very old.
And at that, he takes his leave, walking proudly over to his little old man bicycle, and then, just taking it and try to go to Jacob.
Alright. Do you call your companions and let them know what you've learned?
Yes.
After opening the calculator app multiple times and getting angry.
Oh, why is this not dialing? Why is this? Oh. I need to press the little green button, not this orange one.
Yeah, you'll get there. Just send, eggplant emoji erupting volcano. You're set.
Just wait until Rose.
I guess try to, dial Rose or someone over there.
Just wait until Rose tries and teaches him Pokemon Go.
Hello?
Who is it you called?
I guess I'm trying to call the first name I see over here, Rose.
Oh boy, where am I at in my day?
Your day hasn't progressed particularly far. By the time Gideon's finished, breaking himself out of prison, you have finished having doing your little vision experiments with glasses and your ghouls. Your ghoul, sorry. And them also being given the not inconsiderable idea of shaving you in the night and then watching you grow a new a head of hair, because it's quite funny.
Right. This is the Rose is the butt of every joke arc.
Your ghoul is learning an awful lot about you. Like, wait a fucking second. So, riddle me this. Your leg falls off, and then you go to sleep. You have a new leg. Like, yes, we do. But what happens to the old leg? It ages.
Well,
Creepy!
for a leg cutting off, gonna have to invest a lot of vitae into that, which means you're gonna have to give a lot of vitae.
It's true.
So you best think about that beforehand.
Yeah, of course. Like, what happens if a hand is cut off? Does it actually grow back? And there's probably some "take my strong hand" jokes involved as well.
It makes it feel huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you want to do the call now?
Yeah. You're being called by Gidgen after you finished your experiments.
I will pick it up, I guess. New
Hello?
number, who dis?
Hello?
New number, who dis?
This is Gideon de la Riviere. Is this Rose? Awesome.
Maybe. Would you like to buy a timeshare?
Hey, what now?
Never mind. You don't have to give out your whole name. Or say my whole name, preferably.
Then how would you know that I am who I am?
You could just say Gideon. Also, it's programmed in my phone. I was just digging around with you.
Well,
There's also a thing called voice recognition. We humans are good at that.
well,
Just saying. What's going on, buddy? How's it going? Ready to go to a strip club?
Hey, what now? I recently broke out of the asylum.
Okay, tell me something that isn't. Tell me something I don't know.
The Elder Turin is now missing.
The who now?
The Elder of the Trophians, the one that was missing. I spoke to them last night, and to avoid the morning sun, I took room with them overnight. I was treated to some unkind hospitality, and then we realized that the Elder was missing. I'm here to report that they do not know where he went, that I'm investigating the person that they say sent the message that the Elder Torino would not be attending the awakening.
Okay. It's not that I don't appreciate the call. It's great that you figured out your phone. It sounds more like a Timothy thing.
You were the first number on the list.
Wouldn't it be Darian?
No, I have a written list.
Oh. Why am I the first one on there?
You were the first to give me the number.
I love that his phone book is actually a phone book, like on paper, that he keeps in a pocket so that you can then put it into his phone.
No.
Well, okay. Call Tim. Let him know. This is more of his. I don't even know what you're talking about with more Trophians and Elder Trim. This is above my pay grade. Speaking of which, do we actually get paid?
Eventually. You get paid in honor. And loyalty's due.
Honor does not buy bitches.
Why would he want dogs?
Why wouldn't you want dogs? What's wrong with you? I mean, besides the fact that they hate us.
They only hate Timothy.
They hate all vampires.
I suppose I will call Timothy now.
Okay.
Okay, do I hit the red button?
Yes.
You just hear a series of beeping.
No, the big button that looks like an old school
and the
phone.
call cuts off.
That's gonna be like the big button that looks like an old school phone that you wouldn't recognize it as an old school phone because you didn't, you weren't alive for that.
By the way,
You're technically alive for
rituals
that,
are
but you
fucking
weren't
dope.
awake for that.
Ah, yes, an old school phone, parchment.
A bird, you say?
I used to own the fastest pigeon.
The fattest pigeon? Did you just say?
The fastest pigeon in Rouen.
Fattest pigeon.
I'm pretty sure what you said was the fattest pigeon, which was also the fanciest pigeon because that's how that works.
Back in my day, we used ravens.
That bird could get from one city to another in a matter of 2 days.
I can never get over that artwork, man.
It's
As
so
long as
great.
those two cities were within 2 days of each other.
It only stopped to eat smaller birds once. Alright, I attempt to call Timothy while simultaneously riding my bike towards Jacob.
Oh, Gideon's fallen into the trap.
Yep, he's riding a fixed gear. He's looking down at his phone. He's probably got quite good natural balance. He doesn't even really need to hold like the steering bar to so he's got his full attention on the phone. And then wham, a car! Just thump. Okay. Yeah, you call it Timothy.
What's
hello?
happening with me this time?
I believe this would have been when you finished having your talk in regards to, by the way, time is missing. And seeing the prince personally.
Hello, Gideon.
Hello? Timothy,
Yes.
this is Gideon.
Yes, I know. It says so.
I recently broke out of the asylum.
Should have known.
Broke out.
Yes, I was restrained.
Oh, so, Alright. Start again, please, Gideon.
Last night after... Oh, hold on, there was a car. Okay, last night, after our investigations, I went to the asylum to speak to the Elder Terina. We spoke and we found out why that the Elder was missing. It turns out that due to that bloodline's fear of the wider outside world, a poor, pitiable bloodline weakness, if you ask me, but I digress. They sent a messenger to report that that the Elder would be missing from the awakening. That messenger never arrived.
Alright. And then...
Because the sun was rising, I asked if for a room, to which I was granted. And when I awoke again, the Elder was missing, and I was found. Quite elaborately, mind you. Nowhere near as
Please
professional as
stop
the
fucking
mole.
with your microphone. Just keeps creaking.
Yeah, who's creaking?
It was DCL's mic.
Yeah, it's been going on for at least 10 minutes now. It's incredibly infuriating.
I
The
didn't
bindings
notice.
were elaborate, but not that effective. The Moors had a much more effective binding system. Yes. Then I was almost staked in the chest after some tense negotiations. I released myself, and I'm currently on my bike riding towards this Jacob person.
So, the Elder has gone missing after.
I spoke to them last night. This is unusual because the Elder typically does not leave, and as I said, their weakness implies that they do not like leaving their buildings.
I see. Very well.
Also, quick question. Is it normal to ride around with a axe in the modern day?
No. Not on a bicycle, at the very least.
Well, I have the axe now and it's mine. I don't like feeling undefended.
Gideon, did you deliver any of Tarina's followers to their final death?
No. I was staked in the chest and I was defending myself.
Yes, I am simply inquiring as to
I harmed
quite
no
how
one.
far you. Well, you have remarkable restraint.
Why would I harm someone who does not harm me first?
If I staked you in the chest, I consider that harming you.
It was just a little staking. Nowhere near professional. Nowhere near the children.
Please tell me you at least acquired some recompense for this insult beyond an axe.
Yes, the stake itself. And a clipboard with information.
Thank you. What information have you found?
This Jacob's person's address, which I am currently biking towards. Their personal information, figuring out who and what and where they are. Oh, and that's the child of the Elder Tarina is deeply afraid of this group referred to as Seven.
For good reason. Send me this address. Darian and I will meet you there.
Hold on. Let me just reach over here.
You can hear like a soft squeaky. On the other side of the phone is just like still pedaling as he does this.
You really needed some WD-40 on your chains, bro.
He's just pedaling at such an epic, like unnatural, steady pace that it's just forcing the bike to work hard. It's a fixed gear.
Someone needs to get him in 10 speed.
Or just get me a moped.
You gotta give him a moped, a little helmet, the goggles, and a very, very hilariously long scarf.
Oh, like just to give him a shitty Vespa that doesn't quite go fast enough to get the. Yes, you have the penalty for that, Rose. I believe -3.
It is 6943. Whatever street this appears to be some sort of Asian.
Oh, yeah, 6943, a wonderful year.
Thank you, Gideon.
There's a T, what looks like an apostrophe, a C, And there's a lot of, I don't know it is an Asian language, I can tell you that.
T'Challa Avenue.
Yes, that.
Tachanka?
Alright, guys.
Great lord, Tachanka.
Well, time to find the Black Panther.
Well, I was just trying to,
Did
I'm trying to
somebody
have,
say black people?
I'm trying to get confused because apparently I'm pedaling furiously through the Yakuza Quarter.
Yep. You are pedaling at a, like, moderately, like, speeded, like, moped pace. No hands on a bicycle and a phone call to a vampire through the Yakuza district. You know, everyday shit.
If you see Kiryu, keep pedaling. We're not sure if he's a vampire, but he'll kick your ass in a fist fight.
Who?
What?
Damn it. The only place Yakuza.
Yakuza is a fucking great game, but I made sure to stop watching it so that I could enjoy it one day.
Oh, I need to start playing Yakuza 0.
Are you kidding me? He swings a baseball bat at me, and then I just swing him through a goddamn building.
You say that as if he hasn't done that himself.
Yeah, that happens. Pretty sure he's killed a man with a vending machine, and then money pours. I like the fact that money pours out to the people that you brutalize, just because
That's
it
a
does.
nice touch.
That's why I said nobody's sure if he's actually a vampire, because if you look at what he actually does, he does some pretty inhuman shit.
I'm pretty sure that would just qualify him as what the fuck is that? Promethean? That's just really
because
good.
he makes places better when he goes to them instead of shitter.
Are we sure?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Maybe a Geist then, or a really muscly wizard.
Oh, he'd make a great Geist.
He's like Japanese Superman, just in the gang, for some
So
reason.
good. It's so good. I love it. But as I said, I had to stop watching it be played because I want to play it one day.
Such good games.
So is Timothy going to collect others of the coterie to meet at their home of Jacob Cabs?
Well, yes. First of all, I'm going to hand off this satellite phone and the memory stick to Benedict. He can work his magic on them. And leave the magical book with him. Instructions that when Claire arrives, he's to give it to her and, she'll know what to do. It's a magical book.
Yep.
Grab Darian and,
Remember rightly, you tried to read that book, yes?
I believe so, and it sort of hurt.
Yep. Right.
Another one of my characters is gonna get a book that hurts people when read.
It only
What
hurts
does it
the
do when blue?
Oh, just for the record,
They dab a die.
just as a heads up, I have facing the crowd up just so that the old Italian man with an axe on a single speed, just pedaling around and apparently doing office work on a bike through the Yakuza Quarter, doesn't alarm anyone.
Just
The
that.
problem with that is that only works when you're part of a crowd and not trying to stand out.
I'm
you
not
have to-
trying to stand out.
But you are standing out.
I think you need better obfuscation ranks if you want to be able to get away with all that and no one notice.
I can't make myself invisible yet. I can make other things invisible. Can I make the axe invisible?
Tell me how exactly that works. It might literally be that you can make people aren't aware that you're walking around with a weapon. I'm pretty sure that's a common use for obfuscate.
The second level of obfuscate is you can touch something and make it disappear from people's minds.
Yeah.
I just looked it up because I was bored and I was on the Wikipedia, which is way more fleshed out than it used to be.
Yep.
Facing the crowd is just you can pass by, but while seen, no one really pays any real attention to you.
Yep. You are invisible by reality of being around people.
Yeah, and they don't care what he's carrying. He could walk down the street with an assault rifle strapped to his back or a body slung over his shoulder. So long as he doesn't use it to draw attention, nobody cares or remembers. If he's using facing the crowd, the axe is no problem.
Yep, but he has to be in a crowd for that.
Do I have to be in the crowd for that?
Is that not even a requirement?
No.
Wow, fuck. Yeah, then, alright, you can face in the crowd or you got down
I
one.
was pretty sure there was something about, like, having to be around
You need
others.
something to blend into to become invisible to them, but no. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, you can face in the crowd as you fixed gear at maximum speed down the streets.
Timothy, I think I made a wrong turn.
Cycle around and cycle back. Squeak.
And, should I bother Rose about this? I mean,
there's a lot of gentlemen with tattoos around here. I thought that died of the Gauls.
Oh, you're in. Oh, we're taking you to an alt club.
No, it's just alt night at the Inferno.
We're gonna give Giddy a tramp stamp.
It's just the crotch shot, but it has written above his fun zone. It just says no fat chicks. It's also written in old Latin.
Yeah, I'll also, drop Rose a line with the address once Gideon finally hands it over.
Like reading it to you slowly and in parts as he cycles around the Yakuza district. Yeah, strangely enough, for some weird reason, that whole rule about people not walking around with weapons seems a little bit moot around here. Like, you're legitimately certain that you can see a bunch of tattooed guys walking around with swords on their belts. Admittedly, those belts are like pulling down their pants a little bit, but you know, that just seems to be the weird fashion of these kids these days.
Weirdly,
Is that literally
like,
just like the town that
non-traditional
Yakuza takes place in? People walking around with katanas and fucking guns, ready for a street fight?
They're always prepared for a fucking street fight.
So apparently the New World isn't quite as different as I remember.
Alright, Darian, Gideon has found some information. Remind me, do you have a car?
I'm pretty sure I don't have a car. Do I have a car? I'm pretty sure I don't.
I'm pretty sure the last vehicle you were on was riding bitch with the Gideon.
And that's because you didn't want to go with Rose.
Pretty sure I don't have a car.
Alright.
And do you have a car in real life?
No.
There you go.
Technically yes, but no.
It's right next to a metro line. Let's get going.
Is it a Matchbox car? Or is it Hot Wheels?
And Hot Wheels. With the big
Hot
shiny
Wheels leading the way.
rims.
No, he's got micro machines.
Oh, the micro
Obviously, it's a
machines.
Gear brand.
My dog.
I was half
Is that the
AKA
Latin for no
chibi
fat chicks?
cars.
That is Latin for no fat women.
Gotta get that right across the fun zone. That's fucking fantastic. Best usage of a willpower ever. To keep that one on, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck getting over the scar tissue.
Just write it in scar tissue then, fuck it, whatever. Really tells the story if someone pulls down your pants and then sees the Latin for no fat chicks written in scars across your midriff. This man really is not interested in fat chicks.
You've so many questions.
Is that poetry? I love Shakespeare.
Oh!
Here. Actually, I don't even think Gideon experienced Shakespeare.
He'd have been dead for a while sleeping.
Yeah, when is Shakespeare?
Wait, when did you get?
1560 to 1616.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Well,
But I did get Chaucer.
well, yeah.
And I'm kind of upset that we're missing Cotton Eye because I wanted to hit him up for the copy of the Canterbury Tales.
Nice. Okay. So, who is heading for the home of Jacob Cabs?
Me?
I
imagine I'm
guess.
going with
I don't know.
I imagine I'm tagging along with Timothy.
Sure.
I'm tempted to take Etienne along.
Yeah, if you'd like to, she'd be cool with that. She asked if she should come tooled or just, armored.
Don't stand out, but yeah. I got a shotgun if you want.
Oh no, that's fine. I've still got stuff.
Silver installed.
Assault shotgun? No, that's fine. I'm good.
No, she just stuffs fucking obras in her pants.
Yep.
Took it from a trailer park.
She gets her cool hunter jacket. Throws that on. Pulls the cap into place. And then, yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen her, I'm sure you've seen her undress many, many times, but I don't know that you've ever watched her, gear up like a hunter before.
I've seen her ungear as a hunter. That's
Yeah.
about it. I don't think we've done that hunter vampire role play.
Oh no, the naughty hunter's come to get me.
She's got a wooden stake for you.
We've already done the it in real life.
Oh my god, the Mosin pistol. Yeah, totally.
The obras.
But yeah, well, I'll take her along. I believe Emma has some stuff to do. I'm trying to remember what I told them to do.
Did you give her things to do?
Maybe they already did it.
Feel like they already did it.
Okay.
Didn't she help? She helped get photos of your kid. No, she went off to go get reading glasses and came back with those for you.
Okay. Well, she's off the hook for now then.
Yeah. All right. Haul your tokens over then.
Can't tell me what to do.
Gideon is now having trouble stopping his bike.
Just crash into something. You're a vampire. You'll be fine.
Use the
You
hand
just went
brake.
from a Yakuza district. Do you know how to multi-track drift now?
Back in the 90s.
I'm just imagining the chain and brakes are just smoldering on this thing.
Exactly.
The rubber has been, instead of having textured tires, it's just melted into one circular tube.
Oh, did he have the brakes cranked and just pedaled anyway? Pedaled through the brakes?
Yeah. You know how the brakes are the two rubber grips? Those things have been shorn down to nothing, and the chrome inner wheel part of his bicycle has actually just been turned ash black by having scorched the rubber off of it, and when he finally comes to a stop, a small fire erupts. Just takes out the wheels.
Wow.
I require more transportation.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a bus pass.
A what? A what?
What? In your butt? I said what? In your butt?
While the
This is the
crew
this is the location that they gave me.
Yeah. While the crew is convening at the home of Jacob Cabs, Claire, what is your plan?
What was I doing? Did you have me doing anything?
I did have you doing a thing. When Rose contacted you, it was in regards to a particularly strange situation she finds herself in. The information you had offhanded is that the Botticelli are very, very strange people, and there is evidence of the fact that their bloodlines' requirements to take in the lost, the unhappy, the unsure, the outcast, etc., and people are workers of the night, thieves, rogues, all that kind of shit. tends to make it so their bloodline itself developed into something quite accommodating. That accommodative nature appears to be, these days, something along the lines of parasitic. You don't know how it progresses or strengthens, but from the sounds of it, it looks like Rose could use some kind of assistance with not going permanently blind and becoming a Botticelli.
Yeah.
I was briefly gone. Was that you explaining it to Claire or
To Claire.
Okay? Wasn't not to the whole party. Okay.
No. This is just the information that Claire currently has. Right now, you're probably unsure of what to do with that information or how you can possibly help, but that is a thing you've been asked to see if you can assist her with, because, she doesn't want to go blind.
I'm gonna try and use my eye as much as possible. It's the
Me.
way you get muscles working.
Me. Unclear when I have like an entire library and resources from the Order Dracul to go through. Yay!
I mean,
I
yeah,
get to hit the books, guys.
there is a place that happens to also be developing a rather reasonable collection of books. A place that you helped set up.
Not helped set up, I built it.
Well, okay, yes. I mean, you didn't do it by hand. You poured money
You
and
helped,
resource
you
into
helped.
it. I mean, you probably did actually when it came to the proper development of the wards and protections and such. Yeah, if that's where you'd like to head, that's probably where the majority of your decent library has gone to, so that it can be shared with other members of the Ordo. Likewise, some of their collections have moved home from their own places in San Pasado.
Okay. So I'm going to the the Argus Manor, and I'm gonna research magical afflictions specifically for as it pertains to vampires and the Botticelli in particular. It's
Sure.
time to do what my character was meant for. Eldritch Researcher, yay!
You're welcome.
Yeah, give this roll a go. Also, you are in the Argus Manor. You have a 9 again on this roll. There are currently, let's see here, 2 Ordo members to assist you. They're currently in the manor. They've actually probably just very recently arrived and helped stock in a couple of their own books, and like a workings table appears to be coming along quite well. When you arrive with this information, you are their senior. This is your manor, and will assist you with stuff. Like they'll play a book bitch for you or help you bounce ideas off of them.
How does calling in a dirge work?
Can you
Sir?
please give me the context?
I am an obsessed researcher. I'm pretty sure you can call in your dirge to get more dice or something.
You can
Right.
get a point of willpower back from
Yes, if you
fulfilling
succeeded the
it.
task, you
okay.
fulfilled your dirge, and I get to give you willpower for it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it means. Alright, cool.
Masks and
So
dirges are dumb.
you're done. Okay.
I am.
So what would you like me to make? An intelligence academia or intelligence occult? I imagine to look through all the books in the first place would be intelligence academics.
Yes, build yourself up a books collection, please. You know when someone goes into the library like, alright, I need this and this and this.
Hang on. I'm going to spend a willpower. Let's see if we can make a dramatic success.
Also,
Did you didn't select 9 again as well, and you have a 9 in there before you spend a willpower, so roll an extra d10.
I'm not sure how you... Oh, you can't select that again. I'm dumb. Alright, let me roll d10.
Yep. Turn into a 5th success anyway. Alright, it's a dramatic success.
Yay!
Alright, so around the time that everyone is convening in Jacob Cabs' place and beginning their plan of approach, you have a nice stack of books together, and then your assistants will leave you to pile through that, but they'll still be on hand should you require them. As for the others, for some of you this might be your first time seeing Etienne. Etienne is undoubtedly, Claire's ghoul. She smells very strong. Sorry, Rose's ghoul. She smells very strongly of Rose.
Yeah.
Is she like vampire hunting leathers and shit?
Yes, she is dressed like a bloodborne hunter.
You're
Hey.
dressed unusually.
What's up, guys? This is my bodyguard, Etienne.
Hello, pleased to meet you all again. Well, I say pleased to meet you again, Timothy, and thanks for the compliment. As for you two, unfamiliar.
I kind of like scoot over to Rose and go, "You're dating a vampire hunter?"
I am Sir Gideon de la Riviere.
Ah, sir, my pleasure. Oh,
I-
you're also a knight as well. Sorry, Sir Timothy.
I will
It's
wink
quite
it.
all right.
Do you need a bicycle? You can have that.
No, I came on the crotch rocket.
I will wink at Darian having
what?
his comment and say, "I like to live dangerously."
That's hot. Also a little terrifying. She isn't like a legendary vampire hunter or anything, is she?
She's legendary in the sack. I will.
I
Are you
don't
saying
know
that
what
in
I
earshot of her?
Yeah, I will pinch Etienne's butt.
She
I
will
don't know
yelp
what
in
I-
surprise.
I honestly don't know what I expected, but I'll take it. Well, so remind me again why we're converging at this house. Are we going and expecting trouble?
I'm not taking any chances anymore.
Well, to be honest, things are kind of a little sketchy right now, so that caution is actually what we need.
Indeed. Rose, I trust that Darian passed the message along.
Message?
About the information that the prince gave me.
Information.
You know, that one guy who is that one organization that potentially is going to kill us all in the end.
Vi?
7.
Vi.
I remember specifically telling you this.
Yes, well, it appears your memory has elapsed, and Gideon needs to hear for the first time.
I've had some other stuff on my mind.
Actually, I was thinking about other shit.
As have
As
we all. The Seven are an ancient organization, or a recurring motif among several organizations with similar goals. They love killing vampires. They've killed most everyone who has stood against them, and when they succeed and triumph, they leave no survivors.
How come there are always these fucking ancient organizations that just lurk in the shadows and they resurface like only every few hundred years? And they're always like there to kill vampires or something. But vampires are supposed to be, we're supposed to be awesome badasses who control the shadows, but we can't manage to stamp out these things.
you're a fool if you think that we are the worst creature to ever walk this earth.
I mean, to be fair, about 30% of those secret organizations focus on world domination, another 20% just want to rule the stock market. There's at least 10% that just focuses on mining Bitcoin. Yes, I'm serious. And then there's a whole other random section of secret ancient organizations that just do whatever the fuck they feel like. It's kind of annoying.
There's also the matter that the Seven themselves are vampires. Sleeper agents.
They're
I
vampires
believe.
that kill vampires?
Yes. Like the Blade movies.
So, standard vampire politics then.
Us, except a little more ruthless, a little more mysterious, and well,
So standard vampire politics. Then okay, I got you.
I say vampire politics plus.
Who is Blade?
we'll watch
yeah,
that movie at some point.
legendary half vampire. We'll have to show you the documentaries.
The documentary of Blade the Dampier.
Yeah.
My god, I
Oh.
thought we wiped those out. They still exist.
Also, the seven are in some way linked to the owls. Not quite sure how, but once owls start to flock in number, the seven apparently follow. Why the prince
Owls?
wasn't expecting
Owls?
them.
No. What you were told is that where owls used to be, the seven will follow. Not specifically where owls appear. It's where they leave. More specifically, is the wording. Yeah, I mean,
There's
same
effectively
case.
owl droppings.
Why the prince was not expecting them after we dispersed the owls, I don't know. It is not for me to question his motives, but just putting that out there.
Well, the prince has been awfully disconnected. You know, meaning no disrespect. Been asleep for a while.
Not as long as you think.
I heard about that.
Would have been very impressive, except this has sort of thrown a dampener over it. Right, yes, Gideon, this is the house?
I will now
It is
describe
indeed the
the
house.
house and streets to you guys. So yeah, you're on the edge of what would be considered the Yakuza district, and as one would expect for a massive fucking city, just looking out down the streets, you can see that it's a well-lit place. It's a busy main street where people like to party and do lots of drugs. Everything appears to be very Japanese-themed in nature. Like, the difference from going from, like, the depth portion of the poor district, or, like, from the asylum, or, like, from the main streets, or the train station, like, it is like walking into, you know, Little Japan, as it were, but, like, Little Japan, everything is a red light district.
I want to counter that, but I am unable to.
On what ground, sorry? Or do you mean like, that's basically what one would expect of the Yakuza place?
I want to say you're wrong, but you're not.
Nice. Yeah. This building itself, like the actual like structures of all the buildings, though, you know, as Western as it gets, like this is still obviously a large home that has been converted to allow for, you know, more than a family's worth of tenants. So, you know, it's cheap housing, but it's not like it's a shit building, which is probably a nice change considering the number of times that you've had to break into shit buildings. Apart from Esteban's place, that was nice, except for the murder site.
Does it look occupied?
Okay. There are lights on in the building, only in 3 of the windows.
Allow me to case the joint with my blurry eye.
Wait,
do not say the
does my
blurry eye
magic
part.
clipboard say what apartment it was in?
It has the name. DC is still creaking with your mic again.
Shit.
Stop jerking off your mic.
Although you don't know which one he's in, you can see like right at the door to this converted house is one of those little buzzer things, which has a bunch of names on tiles. So you could probably figure out which house number it is just by the name on the little slip and buzzer.
Wait, is it one of those like doorbell type things? Where it's like press the button like next to name and it'll like buzz that particular like house or whatever, room, whatever.
Pardon me, sorry? As in, if you hit these buzzers, it's think an apartment block, but this was a big house that's been converted to do the job of like a full-person block. So yeah, up at the very front door is a buzzer, and that buzzer is there's one for each person inside.
But it's not like a locked door. You have to be buzzed in to go in. Right?
Yeah, it's not buzz locked. You can like if you had house keys, you could unlock it. If you know, so you could probably unlock it. You don't need to buzz to get in.
Okay. I will casually like look over the place, use my casing abilities to wits and streetwise or larceny. Case this place.
I believe larceny is going to be your jam. Streetwise is getting around in the city when you need to do things.
Fair enough. Any penalty for blurry eye?
At the moment, no. You're not trying to pick out finesse details. Presumably, you're just trying to figure out if you're doing a casing run. If you were trying to like read something really far away, maybe I'd start giving you a negative. But your vision hasn't gotten that bad.
Oh. I just realized my persuasion is one of my asset skills, so I should have gotten 9 again on the hunting roll.
Oh, well, you only needed 3 anyway.
But I could have gotten 5.
You could have.
And I rolled for shit like
that was a spectacularly shit series of rolls right there.
It's blurry eye.
It is, yeah, it is. I guess so.
Getting worse, guys.
Also, supposedly my stream is quieter than it should be, so give me a moment while I look into the reasoning why. Properties. Oh, and there. Alright, speaky.
Hmm?
Ow. Noises. I don't know, might be a bit clearer now, but at the same time it shouldn't have changed.
Well, yeah, but that should and should not does not make the lick of difference when it comes to mics.
Yeah, it's because previously I was using my OBS with a virtual cable to record Arkham with Dave, but I changed it back to speaker setting, but now I've made it so that the speakers are my default and then turned it into default again, which I think has reset some volume settings and might have boosted it.
Well, let's have to wait for the stream to get back to us.
Yep. Maybe. Otherwise I'll just have to like manually boost everyone's audio and be a little bit deafened myself while I look into what the fuck is up.
Why not just turn your headphone volume down?
Because my headphone doesn't have like any kind of like slider on it. I would have to be turning down system volume, which beats the object, making it quieter again.
No, right-click playback devices, headphones, levels. Even if your headphones don't have their own built-in volume control, you can affect just your headphones with that.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong for mine, sadly. My headphones are using a secondary jack that is connected to the speakers, which is information that is being received by my OBS. It's slightly different for me, sadly. Mine's already at the right level, but it's fine. Whatever, it appears to be fine. It might just be one person who's crazy anyway. Okay, so you case the joint. I mean, as long as you get a success is a success. As you go around, you are pretty sure that it's not occupied. There are 3 sets of lights on. Checking at the front door shows that the only room that hasn't got a light on in it belongs to the missing Jacob cabs. The other like little apartment-y bits, they have their lights on. They're as though there were people there. You're pretty sure there's no one though. You can't hear them with your, in fact, much better than before hearing. You can't like feel their hearts. You can't, sense like that just natural feeling people are moving around.
Is the door unlocked?
She hasn't tried the door yet. She's just doing a case of the joint. There are some standard windows that you could, break into pretty easily. That's even if they are locked. The lower windows appear to be like, the double glazed one that's got the security frame in it as well. So, if someone tries to fucking bung a brick at it, it'll hit some webbing and probably spring them back and bean someone in the fucking schnoz. The top windows do not appear to be quite as secure, so they would be easier to break by main force, if need be. The roof of it is, a flat, industrious-looking, modern city building. You could climb onto it and probably get something maintenance-y, and there's also a fake chimney. That's about it. Otherwise, nothing about this building is particularly stand out. It's a nice big building that has been, converted into an apartment.
What apartment does it say for this Jacob person?
His is the on the second floor. It's just like the 3rd building out of 4 buildings. Sorry, well, the 3rd apartment out of 4 apartments, and the lights are off in it. It's the only one with lights actually off.
All right. Can I enter the building?
certainly give it a go.
You want me to pick the lock?
Can I at least test and see if it's locked first?
Sure. I mean, you can test it as Rose returns from her casing with this information. You can go to the handle and give it a tug. You feel the handle depress as though the door weren't locked, but then when you try and plunk, push it open, it appears to be jammed against something.
Ooh.
How jammed are we talking?
Jelly jam.
Yeah. Only Lone Star would do such a thing.
Oh my god. Give me a second.
I mean, the door appears to be jammed.
Is this the part where we kick in the door?
What again?
I feel like this is the part where we kick in the door.
I can scout inside if we need to.
I have another idea. Is one of the windows to this guy's apartment on like the outward wall of the building?
Windows are typically on an outward wall.
No, but hear me out. Is there a window into his apartment?
You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna take you through the magic of very quickly drawn buildings.
We know his apartment number, but doesn't mean we know which actual physical apartment it is.
Because it could have been split up anyway.
Okay. So imagine this purple box is the building. This is like just street. There are other buildings next to it, but those aren't very interesting at all. And that in the right order. That light is on. That light is on. That light is on. That light is not. It's spooky and dark. Ooh. The exits are to north, east, south, and Kevin.
It's jammed.
Space Jam.
Is there a back door?
There is a back door, but it appears to be quite sturdily boarded up. There is no yard to this building anymore. That appears to have been removed.
Just wait, an emergency exit's boarded up? That's a safety violation.
Probably not
Back
a concern
door,
around here.
got it.
Back door, though.
Safety.
Yeah, I mean, there's no fire exit for a like houses themselves didn't come with fire escapes, and if there was, used to be a back door onto a garden or a yard. That yard doesn't exist anymore, and that back door is sealed up.
I'm gonna test the front door again. Use my expert detective skills to see whether it's like a deadbolt or like a one of those tricky, slidey chain locks, or whether it's like a dresser or something pushed up against the.
Sure.
Guess I happen to have a fire axe. That's great for this shit.
What would you like me to roll for that?
What would you like to roll? I'll tell you if it makes sense.
It's larceny again?
Sure. Okay, so you press against the door and there is that ever so subtle give to like whatever's blocking the door. It's not like 100% steady an object. Like if you push hard enough, it might topple whatever is there, and it's probably resting on like a carpeted hallway.
Yeah, I think
Your best guess would be like a waist height dresser.
Alright, I'm gonna turn back to the party. So you can probably push that open. Just be careful. $5 says it's a dead body.
Just because I want you to be wrong, I'll take that bet.
Alright. Fish out $5 from wallet. Because any self-respecting vampire does not carry around a purse.
This is true. Indeed, you probably just
Unless
go
they're
with the classic.
socialite vampires.
This is true.
Is there anyone on the street?
There aren't people like directly outside this house, but the building's off to the side. Like, it's active down at the end of the street, just because that opens out onto a main road, and that's where people have like shops and stores.
If I went up and looked into this dark window here, would anyone notice?
It's the second floor.
It's the second floor.
Yeah.
If you climbed up into it, I mean, at a cursory glance, they might not. You are kind of an eclectic group to be just stood outside of a building, but at the same time, no one's looking at you right now. When I say the end of a street, it's a long street that goes up.
If we want somebody to climb up into the window and not be noticed, that's probably a better job left to me or Rose.
Look, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be happy to see a black dude climbing in a window.
That's the point. They won't see the black dude.
Why? Because it's dark? Oh no, because you can go invisible.
Because you can turn invisible.
Did everybody forget I can turn invisible?
It's sorry, my brain took a moment to catch. I was like, I don't know if DCL's making a self-racist joke, as in like, oh, they can't see color. I'm like, oh wait, no, right, yeah, he actually turns invisible. Never mind. It was my
Jesus
brain.
fuck people.
Never mind.
I would like to point out I didn't say anything.
No, yep, you're safe. It's fine.
I mean, otherwise, I have an axe. Axes are like a skeleton key, but a little louder.
Just push the damn thing open.
I'm going to go and look. Hold here.
Push it open.
And I'm going to use Obtenebration 5.
Oh.
Just want to use this fucking dope-ass Shadow Wizard powers, fine.
Is it worth spending a willpower for
just for sure?
To try to get the dramatic. If I get the dramatic, then I can do the whole 3D thing, and I don't have to, you know, turn the power off to talk.
Right, that's true.
So yeah, I'll spend a willpower try for a dramatic success. Yep.
You become Shadow Tim.
So I just fold up into a little two-dimensional shape and then settle on the ground.
Etienne will yipe as the person next to her turns into a shadow. No doubt as well, because of the way that street lamps are lighting up. It's probably her shadow you end up sat in once you yourself no longer cast one.
It's alright.
Okay, that's impressive.
I kind of looked at it and go, you get used to it.
I mean, he didn't know that he wasn't able to do that when I was, you know, last saw him bleeding out in a van.
Wait, shit, really?
Yeah, this is... How do you turn into a... That's cool. It's cool. Very cool.
I've seen men turn into animals and you think a shadow's strange.
Yes. I mean, I've seen people turn into...
easy.
Yeah, I've seen people turn into animals. I got stabbed really hard by someone who turns into a big animal.
Didn't you people, like, hang out with a werewolf? Or whatever?
I mean...
Why would you hang out with a werewolf?
I mean, in my defense, I wasn't there for that.
Why were you hanging in the first place?
Oh, for fuck's sake, it's a colloquialism. Use context clues.
Squint.
No joke would go over me, I would catch it.
The best fucking quote.
Alright, so Shadow Timothy, you're going to climb the building.
No, actually, I was just going to go underneath the door.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you can slip underneath the door.
What's blocking it? Is it a dead body?
No, it's a dresser.
Damn.
Alright.
By the way, how boarded up is that back door?
You know when someone takes a door out of its frame and just fills it in with a small wall, a thinner wall?
Oh, that kind of board.
Yeah, and it's a sealed door. The door is effectively a different kind of wall, but you know they haven't taken out a door frame or anything, so it's very clearly used to be a back door. But again, the yard that used to be there is instead like the back of another building.
That's a shame.
I'm going to come out, and are there steps leading up to the door, or is it flush with the ground?
Just flush with the ground.
And I'm going to pull in front of it, and form into words in cursive writing.
Ah, shit, I suck at reading cursive.
Well, we're in Little Japan. Get used to calligraphy.
Cursive is not calligraphy. My weepa senses
Basically
are
it is.
offended.
Okay, so yeah.
They're both equally unreadable.
Timothy
you
sign
that.
writes you, Rose, you owe him $5.
I'll pass it over.
Ah,
All right, you're buying when we go to the strip club.
wait, I don't go to strip clubs.
You do now.
I'm sorry, but my money only goes to strippers, even when it's handed off to other people at bets.
Etienne and I will take you.
You know what? I'm fine with this.
You know what? I'm fine with this as too.
So does this mean we can push open the door?
Timothy, would you like a description of the rest of the room, seeing the hallway now that you're in it?
Oh. Yes, please.
So yeah, it is a sort of maroon carpeted hallway floor. There is a staircase at the end of it that goes up into what appears to be like an open landing. What might have been doors into different kinds of rooms have that like converted into a house door look to them, as in like used to be an old passage frame and then a real door frame has gone into it for, you know, safe, secure, open, close, blah blah blah. With little name tiles, and you can see the names of 2 inconsequential mooks. Aspirations. Oh. Cox.
It's been too long.
You know, I'll just take the forfeit 3 beats, and then we'll just see if anyone completed any at the end of the session. Guys get to profit if I forget. Usually when a session ends, you get 2 beats, and then you can start scoring up stuff. But I'm supposed to start a session by asking if any of them want to change. I forgot, and it's a bit late. So instead, at the end of the session, I get my penalty. You will get 3 beats instead, and if anyone did complete any aspirations they had, they can score that shit anyway. Enjoy your free extra point.
Pat.
Oh well. Okay. Otherwise, I mean, it looks like normal. Do you have olfactory senses as a shadow, or do you just see like a person sees?
I would assume I just see.
Okay.
Or, well, if there's anything in Twilight that I can smell, then there's that.
That's true. If there was something in Twilight as a wandering form, you'd be able to... It would be on all of your senses. As far as it is, you really only have vision to go by. Okay, so yes, you can feel free to continue on through the building. Likewise, the rest of you are aware that it's not a body, and Rose's guess originally to herself of it being a dresser is probably spot on.
I figured, but I was like, oh, that would be just proper thing to like push open a door like that, and it's a dead body.
True.
Just to set the tone.
Yeah.
Can I gently push the door open as to knock the dresser over?
You want to try and like slide it across the carpet instead of push it over?
Yes.
When you like push on the door, like it starts to slide a little bit, but it's dragging and catching.
All I need
like
is
it's on a carpet, but like if you really take your time, you can slowly slide it away. But
yeah.
Okay.
All I need is just for it to be open enough for me to slip my skinny ass through.
Yeah. Okay, cool. When they're done doing some stuff in your back, let me know, and we can do some more academia.
Yeah. You need to solve my eye.
Alright. And so while this is being slowly opened behind you, Timothy, you slither, slip and fun your way up the stairs. the texture of the stairs here is different. Like the carpeting is worn by traversal, and it's quite worn up here. And then you reach the top of this carpet. The hallway isn't lit, but because it's, effectively in perfect darkness, you can see actually properly, right?
I think I
does
still
being in a
struggle with
shadow-
colours.
Okay, so it's black and white, but you don't get color vision unless you use your Vitae for the special eyes, right?
It doesn't specify that about colours being gone or not, but normally, when I'm using special eyes, in it, I can't see in colour. I would assume it works the same in this form.
Okay, so yeah, you have a grayscale of everything. The carpet as you're traveling along it is changing tint. There are patches of deeper color here, and it looks like lots and lots of like tracked dust, I suppose. Like you don't have a color context. It's like a black flour, I suppose, has been scattered across the floor around here.
Alright, and when I actually get to the upper landing?
Yep, you're on top of the landing now, and you can see that these like patches form like a solid mass of dark that appears to be like smeared into the carpet, and it tracks underneath one of the cracks in the door.
Alright. I'm gonna slither up the wall and then through the side of the door.
Okay. The room on the other side is in pitch blackness. You are going into the room of Jacob. At the same time, the rest of the party is able to get inside. Gideon has forced it open properly. Well, I suppose I shouldn't move everyone there. I don't know if anyone else is following directly after him, but yeah, Gideon, you managed to get it open.
Sure.
Timothy is out of sight. And when you enter, there is something strange. You can smell, like, the greasy, cloying stench of ash. However, there is no scent of blood or, like, people having lived here or cooked food or anything pleasant. Like, a home is generally associated with its certain smells that it has been lived in. The only thing you can smell is this greasy cloyingness.
Does it smell like a vampire's death, or just ash?
Just greasy ash.
Okay.
Is that what I smell, or Tim?
Greasy ass.
That's what all of you smell. Tim can't smell, he's a shadow.
Okay.
Like the entire place smells
Yeah,
like
you
that?
the only like maybe it's just because it's the absence of any other scent or odor. Like you can smell your companions. You can still smell like a fresh meal that you had before leaving for here.
Can I look through a keyhole into one of the lit apartments down below?
Sure. It won't give you a particularly good view. It seems to open out onto like these are very studio rooms. I'll describe this place to Timothy because he'll be seeing it in black and white, but in full, what you're able to try and glean from this keyhole. You pass your way through the door, and you can see that there is like a converted kitchen with like the breakfast bar going down the middle, and that appears to be a divider between that and a living room. And then there is a single doorway that appears to lead to a bedroom, and that's probably where an ensuite bathroom or something is. Like it is a room studio. It's a nice room studio considering the district it's right adjacent to. You can see that there is a number of like little picture frames, some probably like more Japanese inspired memorabilia just from living in this area. You probably pick that shit up quite often. But that's the general layout of this place, and that's where the differences start to come in. Rem, when you peek in, you can see that there is a sofa on the side. You can faintly hear what sounds like, when a TV is on standby, it's just that soft electric hum. You can hear that. That's basically all you can hear from that room. Timothy, when you're in this room, you can see other things. There isn't any light in here, and I'm talking there's no like digital clock readouts. You can't like see standby lights on the television. You can't see anything. Like it's this well, you could see everything because there is not a single source of light. This place is pitch black. But you can see an awful lot more of these greasy black patches. I say patches, but it's more like there are patches of clean carpet and then the rest is greasy ash. It follows up along the walls and tracks along those sides. And you can see that the bedroom door happens to be open a crack.
Well, so the greasy stains there on the walls, do they go up to the ceiling?
Yes. Yes, they reach the ceiling. The ceiling itself seems to be mostly clear of it.
I'ma go and live on the ceiling now.
Okay. Yeah, you shadow swoop your way up to the ceiling, and you have a bird's eye view, such as it were, of this room. And once you're up there, you can look down onto a sofa. And that sofa appears to be in perfect condition. Indeed, like the seats of it are meticulously clear of any ash in the shape of a body. You know those sorts of like comedy things where there's an explosion in a cartoon and someone's imprint is left on a wall as they step away. They're covered in ash, and then the wall is ash, and there's a person shape.
Yeah.
There's that on the sofa.
But there is not actual. But the body itself is not there.
Correct. No body.
Do I get any other information from looking in these lit rooms?
When you look in the lit rooms, you can see that there are, they all look like very typical living spaces. They're just surprisingly empty despite the lights being left on.
Curious.
These houses are really starting to give me the creeps.
Yeah, why can't fucking vampires live in normal fucking houses?
I mean, most of the time they kind of do, saving for the obvious rich and elite types. What I mean is that these places are supposed to be places where people live, yet every time they just feel so empty.
When you're all inside, the door behind you just sort of like gently shuts on its hinges. Probably the moment you say this place is creepy, there's a clink. The door.
Oh yeah, because that's
pulls
totally
onto its
helping
latch.
my case. My point is, usually, even with the dead, places they live in, people, where people are actually inhabiting, usually have some sort of aura that you just can innately sense about them. But every location we've been to has kind of lacked that, and it's really fucking weird.
Just
about
aren't
this are
people
simply
anymore. They're just things living.
I mean, I'll ask Scal this before I assume, but even vampires generally leave an aura of home in their locations, correct?
I mean, that would be making the assumption that all of these places were inhabited by vampires anyway. Like, you're pretty sure that these were all human-habited, except for possibly that guy upstairs, whose room none of you have seen yet.
Yeah. But even then...
But yes, like, if a place is lived in, then they will, like, drag in things like the sense of, things that they've seen and been around, like, their footprints will scuff up little marks. There'll be like the little evidences that something's been moved or picked up or walked through or sat on or rested against. Like, because there has been mobility. Yeah, I know what you mean. And a vampire, unless their humanity is quite low, they still leave an impression on the world as though they lived in a place.
Yeah.
You'd have to have like fuck all humanity because you don't do things at all. Like, you don't even breathe really. All of your movements are unearthly and all that kind of shit. So like,
yeah. My point is that even though we don't understand it, Our senses are tuned to pick up such things. We haven't been able to find that in a lot of these places. It's like nobody actually lived here at all. There's just a void of human interaction. That shouldn't be how it is.
Keep your guard up. I'm heading upstairs.
Yeah, this is the type of vampire that, are the reason why people hunt us. They just
But hey, I
aren't
thought these were
human
supposed
anymore.
to be human homes. If anything, that's more of a reason why we should feel something.
Is there a basement to this place?
No.
Depends on what the humans are like here. Maybe they're dead inside too. I'm gonna have her. I'm gonna go like shh, and I'm gonna try and listen.
Oh, hey, roll me a d10. Okay. You do hear something.
Out in the middle of the road.
You hear something outside. It's a weird sound, and not one you think you've heard before, or maybe you think you do. Like it's almost nostalgic when you stand there and you try desperately to listen for something. It's like one little piercing, vibrous screech. For a brief moment, you have the impression of everyone that's just like stood around, like outside in the street and like on this side of the door. Like a print that's in your mind for the briefest of moments. Like you're afraid to stop listening in case it snaps your concentration and you lose this temporary perfect image of everything around you. Then the moment passes.
Can I roll to know what the hell that was?
You would not be able to hear it. Rose is the only one who heard this when she stopped specifically to listen.
Yeah. Like a momentary echolocation thing.
Yeah.
Fuck. Is my eye any blurrier?
No.
Okay.
It was only
good.
one. This is the only time you've heard this noise. Like you specifically paused to listen.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just on the edge of perception, it's like someone just temporarily made a noise and dropped a map in your head. It's probably quite jarring.
Weird. I didn't even get up to that discipline yet. Can I tell if there's anybody like in the building besides us?
No, when you... Oh, wait, no. When that echo happened, yeah, you only would have gotten just this floor. It didn't reach up the stairs quite far enough, because the origin was outside the building, most likely. Your impressions of the, like, two, essentially, studio rooms that you're next to, like on your left, on your right, are like fuzzy, as though this image that you gathered from those was from a vibration outside and it, passed through the window. You imagine it's like if everything else was printed pretty clearly, there's static in those rooms, but there were undoubtedly some humanoid forms.
Yeah, can I tell like what they were doing, maybe, or would that be too staticky to tell?
You didn't roll high enough for that. With your lucky chance. Maybe I'd have given you possibly something a little bit more.
I mean, like wits composure. But...
Sure.
Trained observer probably would not apply in this one.
No, you're not observing, you're perceiving, if that makes sense.
In a way, it's like observing, but yeah.
An observation is like being in the overseeing. Okay, what is it exactly you're trying to perceive? Is it people in these rooms, or?
Oh yeah, and like the neighboring rooms. I want to see if they like have taken notice of us, or if they're just like sitting on the couch watching. Or whether they're dead. And
as far as you're concerned, when you're like trying to listen at these doors or through the hole, these rooms are abandoned.
Okay.
And no one has ever lived in them, despite the fact that they appear to, have lights on. I don't know, maybe some TVs have gone to sleep but were on.
Yeah.
As far as you're concerned, these seem abandoned, but you've also got this unnerving sensation that there were indeed people there.
I'm gonna like point at my eyes and then point at the rooms, and then like give up partway through and whisper, "I think there are people in there. I don't know the sign, the tactical
Oh,
sign language."
Etienne will show you the tactical for people in the room.
Oh, okay. We'll get ready and start slowly creeping towards that room.
Sure.
No, I don't know if there's like, they don't seem to be like listening to us or anything.
Etienne will still draw out the hand harpoon, and then she will also, in her other hand, pull out a more, terrestrial human-killing weapon, a Bowie knife.
Since she looks like she knows what she's doing, I'm gonna kind of lean up against the door with her and get ready to kind of open and clear.
Yeah.
$5 says it's a dead body.
I once again take third. I make the silent hand sign for you all.
You're on. Etienne will roll her eyes, and then do you want to be the one to door clear or her?
I'll be the one. I'm the vampire.
All right, sure.
Good choice. Good choice. Don't put my my lady in jeopardy.
All right, clear.
All right, so you're kicking in the door, and then we're gonna take a pause in there. Hey, Claire.
Oh, what?
It's nerd time, baby.
I'm doing stuff? That's weird.
So you've got your stack of books right now as your companions or, busy person work. And you're looking into the idea of this Botticelli's bloodline being some kind of parasitic something or other and looking for a cure.
Yay.
Now, there are a number of things along the lines of, old and relatively considered to be quite forbidden Kruak rituals for temporarily utilizing people's powers. There is evidence that diablerie can steal the powers of other people and form their own sort of homogeneously everywhere bloodlines. And there is evidence of, more importantly, places where bloodlines cropped up originally and the circumstances for how that all came about. In a lot of cases, the information there is sort of word of mouth made it to book translation, because there was no one to record this data of how the history of whichever bloodline started up. However, there are a number of things in common, and that's the idea that a bloodline's vampires, more often than not, unless they're quite forced into the situation, were always meant to be a part of it. It was very in-fitting with all their characters. Of course, the origination of, for instance, the Mortrovian bloodline was a Nosferatu who grew addicted to this taste of, the broken mind and the damage and the fear and all of that stuff. And then the idea of this stability, this sanity and all that kind of thing became an antithesis, and that's how their bloodline developed, by utilizing power and falling into this rut. So you form a habit, and then that essentially sort of starts to sculpt how that bloodline develops until it's actually a real one that you can pull people into. It usually happens around quite powerful people. The Botticelli, on the other hand, don't have quite the same story. Basically anywhere that states they naturally diablerize individuals, but they all do seem to have that same thing in common, people of a broken disposition, although admittedly the context was far more religious back then. Same theory applied. In that they would find these sort of homes for the people who are lost and don't fit. What you would need to find instead is there is more than one antithetical to a bloodline. I mean, the obvious issue is that they're blind. Your obvious issue is I can't remember what your bloodline's weakness is.
My weakness is that my bloodline secretly craves for the final death.
Right, that was it. Not everyone has just the one weakness. You're fairly certain that the Botticelli have a second weakness, and learning what this is would be the key to sort of unraveling its hold on someone. It's like the idea of, say for instance, someone's weakness was actually being presented with garlic, as ridiculous as that might be, and then say they passed on some kind of mysterious illness. Instead, like, the antibodies to this illness would be just fucking bung some garlic on that person, because it's not only symbolic, it has an actual arcane presence in that bloodline. It would stop it doing its thing. There is some weakness related, like, additional on top of their actually being blind, related to how people turn blind amongst them, how it absorbs these people who are lost. You're going to need to find out what that is, though.
And it's in none of my books?
No, it's very much a deep bloodline secret. So it's not something that you have at the, at least not in Argus Manor, not amongst the dragons that you have around you, or your own collection. The Botticelli were at the best of times, you know, religious nut jobs, and they've now sort of become something slightly different. But, you know, at their core, they were still religious nut jobs.
Alright. Well, then I am going to formally put in a request for any information from anyone who has vivisected a Botticelli within the Ordo, because that's kind of what we do.
You do like to do those vivisections. Okay.
So,
Does it really define as a vivisection if they're technically undead?
Yes?
Yeah, I guess so. It's more like
Isn't
it's more like
vivisection on, like,
centisect.
someone that's alive?
it's not an autopsy, and let's not be pedants about this.
Yeah.
I'm back. What are we arguing about?
Whether it's actually called a vivisection if it's being done on a vampire while they're alive, quote unquote alive. But it isn't an autopsy. It's a centisection. They're sentient. There you go. Yeah, you're fairly sure that if you discover this second weakness of the Botticelli, you'll find that the ways to help, you know, prevent Rose's turning to them or gaining this fully fledged blindness. And so you want to chase up people who've potentially done Botticelli vivisections?
Yeah, it's not uncommon. Order Dracul keeps its secrets well, and this is, you know, not that unusual of a request. Kind of like asking, "Hey, has anyone vivisected a werewolf? I need to know this about their kind of regeneration."
Sure, okay. You can certainly inquire to the Dragon Hotline.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you trying for a live call, or are you just putting feelers out?
I'm just gonna put feelers out because I don't know anyone who has. Otherwise, this wouldn't be an issue.
Sure.
And I am 3.Order Dracul.
Okay, sure. Give me whatever test you'd like for talkie stuff, and your Dracul status will be a modifier.
What would that be? It wouldn't be manipulation. Wouldn't really be presence.
Presence works. You're just basically going by, you know, the power of your own personality.
I guess. Not really using my personality to. I'm just requesting information.
Sure, but like something presence tends to be where you're.
Okay, well.
I mean, more reality. The reality is you should be using one of the like either intelligence or wits or manipulation or presence. Any of those four, I guess, and then you can mix it with a social skill like persuasion or socialize, etc. to make this test.
One attribute, one skill, or
yeah. I mean, you could do 2 attributes, but you have a social skill.
So can I do like 2 attributes and a social skill? No. Is my question.
2 attributes or 1 and a social.
Okay. Well, my social are terrible, so. And the modifier on this is 3. And I'm gonna. Should I spend willpower? Is the question.
I mean, spending a willpower to gain a willpower, I don't know.
What? I'm not trying to.
You'll be getting a thing for your dodge.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It's the perfect time to spend the willpower then.
yeah, to gain a willpower. I'm not sure what your problem is, but okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't
mean-
know, if you wanted to go net up, you've already
I
spent
mean-
one, so you could net your way back up into full willpower if you did this without it.
I spent one. I don't know why there's only 4, but I guess I spent one last session. Because I didn't spend one this one.
Yeah, probably.
And, and we
I don't
determined
remember.
that like sleeping does not return willpower, so.
Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but I spent a bunch making Aurora a true friend, so if I just spend time with her, I get willpower back.
Yep.
But I've been doing that because I've been busy.
She's been up
Should
to
I
a rare
try?
things, you know, or late night parties, balls, and galas.
Yeah, I'll just spend a willpower. Why not?
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I should have probably just do. I should probably not just do the bracket so we can see them all in a row. Yeah. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. I'm going to. Oh, also, can you roll me a chance die?
D10, right?
Yep.
I prefer doing the brackets, but when we need to see all the numbers side by
I was gonna
side.
say, like, I just have the square brackets of D10 just copied, so I can just paste out a shit ton of them at once. Like so, which I actually need to do. Oh, ITN didn't do it. Alright, we got our success. And now we need the one for the actual autopsy. See if they got useful information. So there is a person. They aren't in San Posado. But you push the information out, and then one member announces that they know a vivisection specialist who's believes looking into other matters right now. Like they've got other, well, essentially vivisections to perform on some up and coming bloodlines. In fact, apparently there was a mutated bloodline further up to the north, somewhere in Canada.
The cold north.
Yeah, there is indeed a bloodline transforming somewhere in Canada.
Not the Maple Bloods.
The Maple Bloods. So they might be up near there somewhere, but they were also pretty much chief on some of the more outlandish of the bloodlines to look into. Barticelli, with their strange sonar powers, certainly qualify as outlandish. How did their section go? 9 again.
Before it goes terribly.
Wow, the section would have been real boring.
That's science. That was the 9 again. Okay. Wow, I only came out with 3 successes. Look how many dice I just threw there.
Oh.
Typical. Okay, but they do have some information for you then. They vivisected 2 Barticelli. Now, these 2 Barticelli, one was old, and one was their child, and he will endeavour to collect this information from you. For you. It will take some time to source those files and get them sent out. Would you like it in an email, or would you like it in a sealed missive?
I honestly don't know what's more secure in the Order Draco. Probably the sealed missive.
Yeah, sealed missive is more secure than just getting an email with information in it.
Why not buy a carrier pigeon?
Nice secure. It's a long way from Canada. They have carrier pigeons.
Well, the pigeon
That
would
was
keep.
awful, and you should feel bad.
Well, the pigeon would just keep stopping for poutine. Just get so distracted on the way.
Now hankering for cheese curds and chips and gravy real bad right now.
I've actually never had it, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, you're not going to be craving that in a second as soon as I post this that I've been typing out.
Okay. Oh, juicy. No, I'm still hungry for poutine.
I'm still just hungry.
Are you hungry?
Yeah,
for
that does
happiness?
nothing for my appetite.
It's like he cuts out the different tumors, and he's like, "Ooh," pop it in his mouth.
Jamisi are weird, bro.
Yeah.
They're weird even by vampires.
He wasn't like it was New World of Darkness, so he wasn't actually Zemitzi, but he had that flesh crafting ability.
Right.
I played it as Zemitzi, but it was fun. That was a weird setup. That was a weird adventure. Just, I'm sure you can infer how weird it was just by that opening sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. So, God, my brain. Yes, Claire, you're going for a sealed missive then?
Yes.
Alright. You, send out this request for information and they'll let you know. You'll put together a works file of, vivisective images, and then one of them, unfortunately, on the young one, turned into an autopsy partway through.
That'll happen.
Yep.
That's dark.
It is dark. Welcome to the world of it. So yeah, so you're going to get the vivisection for an old Botticelli, and then the vivisection / autopsy of his child with an E. And that will get to you as soon as they possibly can. It'll take some time. As I say, the guys in Canada.
Pigeons can only fly so fast.
Exactly. They like to send phoenixes, but they tried it, but they kept burning all these fucking documents.
They tried sending asbestos envelopes, but that didn't really help things.
Well, yeah, because it set fire to the vampires who received them. Nothing quite like a giant bird made of fire to tell you it's time for your message.
Squee! Email.
Screamail. Okay. Yeah, so you're going to have that information, and you can probably pass on to Rose, there is a second weakness. We'll figure it out. Might be able to save your fucking peeper.
You gotta kick him in the dick.
Yep. They lose their vision via dick-based attacks.
I helped.
And now we swoosh on over to the door that's being kicked in. You kick in the door. See how?
Oh boy.
It's nearly blown off of its hinges because you're a vampy boy. That shit is easy business for you.
Yo.
It slams into another door. If you imagine a room to open, I'll just in fact sketch it outline style for you. I guess. So imagine you're entering a room. The door is like here. And right here is a doorway into like a bedroom and ensuite, that kind of thing. Got your little so kitchen at the back, a little breakfast bar thing, separating the two, and then the rest appears to be like living space, effectively. So TVs and sofas, all that kind of shit. You kick in the door and it effectively smashes off its hinges into the door into the bedroom. And as you do so, there is no sudden alarm or anything. Again, you're shocked. This place looks 100% lived in. Everything about your senses tells you you've just walked into an abandoned room. In fact, it fools your eyes as you both of you sort of, breach and clear into this room. Etienne's rolling in a moment after you, raising a harpoon gun. Your eyes cast past someone, as though they just didn't register on your radar at all. You weren't even looking at them, and you have to force yourself to look back at them again. It is a pale form, undoubtedly human. At least once. They look as though, despite, still having all their juicy fluids, there isn't a single drop of, blood or pigment in them. They are shock white from head to toe. Their hair as well, completely white. Their eyes white. Their teeth painfully white. But you can see that there is the beginnings of fangs as it's, stood there and sort of smiling eerily. You sort of take a position, its head, turns towards you, and that creepy smile grows a little bit. The mouth opens wide and you can see pale white gums and a long white tongue.
Nope.
I'm going
Nope.
to guess you're not much of a talker.
Takes a step forward. And that's where our session
Nope.
is closing for today.
Nope.
Ah, thank God.
Oh boy.
It's just gonna end as like Rose is pulling up the shotgun,
I'm happy you ended it
yelling
now
"Nope."
because I'm gonna be honest. Most of my brain is not working right now, and I have forgotten, like, of course, once again, 90% of the combat rolls. So I'm gonna need some time.
That's fine. I need to make sure that their stats are all appropriate for your group anyway.
God.
I'm happy. I'm actually happy. For once, I'm happy the combat does not start. Now I want it to.
Alright. I mean, I'm glad that, as I say, like, it's the reason it's a cliffhanger there and not in, like, 10 minutes' time, is that I do need to make sure those numbers aren't outdated completely and you just walk the fuck over it.
Wait. Describe that vampire again.
I didn't describe a vampire.
Describe the abomination.
Okay. A completely white individual from head to toe. They have, like, short white hair. Definitely human in all of their shapes and nature, except they have no skin pigment, no blood color, no, like, eyelashes. Those two also shock white. Their eyes, they are white. Their pupils are white in white. Their teeth are pointed at the incisors, yes. Lips white, tongue white, gums, all of it. Painfully pale.
The lesson is that this is obviously a white supremacist, and as the black man, I must slay them for my people.
Does that mean you get bonus damage?
I don't know what that looks like. Let's see. Looking around a picture. Also, yeah, sword canes are cool. Alright then. Seeing as I forgot, everyone, of course, you will get your 3 beats.
Yay!
Let's see if there are any aspirations. You had Rose had make big money, hasn't happened. Tim with job, no progress. Fixed vision, no progress yet. DCL, complete job without resulting in violence, no progress. So it still has a plus. In a violent confrontation, kick the most ass, no progress. Perform a job alongside Rose, 2 pluses, not complete. Research persistent shadows, has a plus, no progress. Learn the identity of Grim Knight, no progress. Resolve side job, shaking a few trees, 2 pluses, no progress. Stray, upgrade the Argus Manor, has a plus in it. I can't remember, have you finished all of the work on it?
Oh no, that's gonna take many, many sessions.
Okay.
But I just got another experience, so another point is going into Perilous House.
Well, let me finish this bit here, because you also have discovered the Forgotten Law of the Bachra for Arera. You have actually got a plus in it. One of the things I rolled for on the day that you weren't around is how your progress with that actually went.
Yay!
You did indeed find a ledger/transcript written by not another dragon, but certainly some other kind of investigator of matters arcana. There is a plus in it. You did make some progress. Although it hasn't added to your beats yet. Next up, Gideon, becoming ingratiated with local Invictus. There's a plus in it. Haven't finished that yet. Assist your coterie with a side job, 2 pluses, no progress yet. And I believe that is it. It is. Have any of you got any questions for stuff?
Nope. Need to make sure ready with those rules for next session.
Yeah, and I need to make sure that I'm ready with a stat block, because I suspect that they are too weak for you guys. I hope that you all had yourselves a lovely motherfucking good time. And if you're watching in the stream or video, please do take care.
By stream, by YouTube, and Scout. Thanks again for running.
Hey, my pleasure.